Searching for music for your next video? Then you need to check out Artlist.
I didn't realize my microphone was off. Well, my earphones were off. Have you started your stream? Yes, you have. 0 viewers. Yeah, so I was. Oh, wait. Okay, there's no one on this. Okay. Wait.
Welcome everybody. How's everybody doing today? Welcome to the stream. We are just waiting for players to get into the lobby, but tonight we are hosting Era Millennium versus Troepe. I think it's going to be a really good game. Yeah, we're just waiting for teams to get into the lobby here. If you are watching, send us a shout out, say hi. What are your predictions? What are you guys thinking is going to happen during this series? Hoping that this one does go to a game 3. We still haven't seen any of these matches go to a game 3 just yet. But yeah, hopefully this will be the first one, bringing us more action in this time that we have.
Alright!
Thank you, Crazy Lazy Slot. Yes, Sloth, for the follow. Appreciate it. Yeah, what do you think is going to happen in this game? Let me know. What are your predictions? Do you think we're going to get a game 3? Yeah, I am joined once again by Chicken Boy. Well, I mean, he is helping me out tonight on today's stream.
Helping you a lot.
Oh, please. But yeah, what do you guys think? If you guys are watching the stream, let me know. What do you guys think is going to happen? What do you think we're going to see a game 3? We have about 2 minutes to go before the game is scheduled to start. So,
Tell you what, any of the fans or players of these games are not looking for a game 3. They're hoping for 2 games.
why is that?
Yeah, they're crazy, lazy, slothy, even say.
There.
I mean,
might be
as a
biased.
player, you want to win both games and be done with.
Yeah, true, I suppose. I mean,
Saying from our
I want to.
unbiased point of view, we won 3 games.
Yeah, we want to see like action. We want to see tower dives and Nexus races and.
Please don't encourage bad behavior. We want to see good League of Legends.
What's considered good League of Legends, though? I mean.
Well, it can be a tower dive if you get it right in game feed. It can be a Nexus rush if that's sort of the direction the game takes. Let's see if there'll be any Baron steals this game. I'll try my hardest to jinx the Baron, as I seem to be so good at.
Yeah, that's true. You gotta keep your mouth shut when it comes to those Baron steals.
Oh, please. Baron steals are the best.
But yeah, unfortunately, we do have about 3 games happening tonight. Unfortunately, I can only bring you one, so
Unfortunately, we can't do it all at the same time.
You guys need to, for everyone who's watching that's in the VS Gaming League, you gotta get your schedules a little better so I can try bring everyone action. Get them all at different times.
Yeah,
and
please
then
sort out your lives.
we have, I think, about 4 games or 3 games at 8 o'clock as well, which we might be able to catch a second or third game on one of those series. Unfortunately, once again, I cannot bring everything, but I will be trying to bring all the action to you guys as much as I can. We're just looking, it looks like teams are in the lobby. I think they're just making sure that they're ready. Yeah, what are your predictions?
Mine.
Yeah, yours. What do you think is going to happen in this game in terms of, do you think we're going to see a game 3?
Just quickly check your chat.
Yeah, I'm watching.
Look, I mean, we haven't seen either of these games yet. This is our first game, or first look at both these games. Just on paper, I'd probably give an edge to Era Millennium.
Okay. Why?
I was having a look at some of the ranked flex games, some of the team comps. Having a look at just what they've been doing, what they've been practicing, and on paper, I think they seem to have the edge. But I mean, it all depends. We know that League of Legends is more than an individual game; it is a team game. So we'll have to see which team can play well together. It's not just about the individual outplays.
Yeah, that's true.
And you?
Yeah, I think, well, I'm not too sure exactly between the teams. Just looking at the ranks here, I do see Era does have some higher played rank individuals. But yeah, like you said, I suppose it kind of really shows in terms of the team fight and the mechanics and maybe pulling around the map like we saw in the last game that we spectated or shoutcasted, that the team, I can't remember who it was. Zags, I think it was. I'm not too sure. No, it wasn't Zags. Anyway, they kind of adapted their team fights and realized that that wasn't a strong point for them, and then started playing for the lane and kind of pulling their opponents around the map. So I think it also comes down to how adaptive the teams can be to try and get their goal, I suppose.
Well, it looks like Troepe are ready. I'm just waiting for Millennium to confirm.
I
So
do
I'll
see your
say,
messages, Crazy Sloth. I'm just Crazy
okay,
Lazy
looks like,
Sloth. Yeah.
okay, looks like we might go in.
Yeah, it does look like it.
Okay, so by the looks of things, we have, what's that, Troepe on blue side
Yes.
and Millennium on red side.
Yeah, so Troepe did win that coin toss. So it does look like they did choose select the blue side, like you said. They will most likely get the first pick. Well, they will. Awesome. Thank
Say
you,
yes in the chat,
Zane
bruh.
Zoza.
Say yes in the chat. They're waiting for you.
Oh,
Never
yeah,
mind.
you said. Oh, I thought. Okay, yeah.
They're
Yeah,
not
so
speaking to you.
we are into the champ select.
Ooh,
First
a
ban.
center ban. Okay.
I see
I'm
that.
surprised. I'm a little bit surprised by that, I'll be honest. Kha'Zix ban. Okay, so that's jungle. Not the bans that I was expecting. I still expect to see a high priority on the Wukong. I don't know if I'm blue side, I'm not banning Wukong. I probably want to prioritize it. Wait to see if red side will pick it. Yes, Yuumi. I think that's a great ban. If you're not going to play her. Again, you can maybe wait to see if red side's going to ban her. But if they're not comfortable playing it, then probably safer to ban it. I also think Ezreal is going to have a lot of priority in this matchup. So I'm curious to see if either team is actually going to ban it, or if they're going to see if it gets through, and if they're going to try and pick it up.
Okay.
Kassadin. Okay.
I know both of us have definitely been speaking about the Wukong. Do you think the Wukong is going to get through once again? And if so, do you
I
think they're going to
expect
pick him?
either Ezreal or Wukong first pick here. Okay, or the Aphelios, yeah.
Okay, that makes
So
sense.
the ADCs was Aphelios and Ezreal. So I think they don't have to take it now. But I think before the next pick and ban phase, I expect Millennium to pick up Ezreal. But I think they maybe take the Wukong now. And a support. I was sort of expecting to see something like a Thresh support or Lulu, but Nami can work. Yeah, and there's the Wukong hover. Yeah, no surprise there. So Troepe, let's see. They've got the Aphelios. Sett's banned, Wukong's banned,
I'm just
Senna's
thinking
banned.
support into that. I mean, I suppose there's quite a few supports that can kind of go into Aphelios there. I mean, he kind of
Yeah, you
combos with
probably want to
anybody.
pair him up with. You could pair him up with like a Lulu. Yeah, there it is. Again, not. Yeah, I think that makes sense. Yeah, I'm expecting
Caitlyn.
ADC. Oh, okay, Caitlyn. Okay. I suppose without the Yuumi, Ezreal is not that strong. You pretty much want to pair him up with the Yuumi. He can work with the Karma. I think we saw that in one of our matchups as well. But yeah, Orianna ban. Yeah, that makes sense. The mid laner Troepe, he seems to play a lot of Orianna, so I think, and she's a pretty safe pick, pretty comfortable pick. So I think that's a good ban.
Ooh, the Galio.
Galio? Yeah, I mean, the last thing you
Comboed.
want as
Yeah.
Troepe, is that Galio Wukong
Yeah, makes sense.
together. So it's, not a bad. I want to see Millennium. Who's actually? I think they've pretty much banned everyone that I expect them to ban. So maybe a top or another mid ban.
Hecarim.
Okay.
We haven't seen
That
a Hecarim
looks.
ban or a pick throughout the
So
series.
Hecarim, I was talking last time we cast, it was a Friday night, about the possible counters into the Wukong, and Hecarim is one of those counters that we've seen. I think they've played it mostly in like the LPR, but I think there's a couple of counters. I think you can still play something like the Mordekaiser into the Wukong, as I was explaining earlier today. I'll go into more detail if he actually gets picked. Otherwise, just sort of your tanks do fairly well to the Wukong in the laning phase. So the tank that I'd probably take into the Wukong is something like an Ornn. Cho'Gath I think can also work, but let's wait. Let's
Do you,
wait and see.
I'm also just thinking now, would it be, I suppose, possible that it's a Wukong jungle?
It can be,
It could
definitely
be.
can be.
I suppose then the counter that
No, so I think that's
might
Wukong
suggest
top.
it.
I think
Yeah,
that's
that's what I'm.
Alis's
Yeah,
Wukong top.
yeah. From that, I kind of suggested that.
Yeah.
But yeah, Fiddles in the jungle. I mean, they are looking quite team fight orientated with the Wukong OT, Nami OT, Fiddle OT, kind of coming together. Hopefully.
Yeah, but that's good that they're thinking about how those team fights are going to play out and that they're planning for that. Yeah, there's the
There's the
Mordekaiser. Okay,
Mordekaiser, like you were
so
speaking about.
I'll wait for the end of the pick
The
and
three
ban phase to
minutes that we
explain why
have.
I think yeah Mordekaiser is a good pick into the Wukong. Annie.
Into the mid lane.
Okay. Well, okay, wait. So this could be an Annie support and a Lulu in the mid lane. And then they might. Wow, okay. I'm a little bit surprised by that, but it's probably Lulu support, and in the mid lane, and there's the.
Fiddle's in the
Okay, so
mid
I think
lane.
we're gonna see. No, I think we're gonna see a lethality Wukong in the mid lane.
And Fiddle's in the top.
No, Fiddle's in the jungle, Ornn in the top lane.
Oh, it's on in the top. Oh, yeah, sorry. When they switched it around, I was like, what?
Okay, so yes, look, Mordekaiser is definitely gonna want to lane against the Wukong. Um, Lulu does not want to lane against Wukong. Yeah, so Lulu's going to have to move into the top lane. I think this pick has thrown Troepe just a little bit, to be honest. I mean, I hadn't thought about the Wukong in the mid lane, but I have seen Wukong lethality in the mid lane is quite strong. I'm just waiting to see. I think they have the full duration to chop and change, so I won't commit until we see it actually locked in.
Yeah.
10 seconds to
Let
go.
me just say, yeah, welcome to everybody who's watching the stream. We are going into era Millennium versus Troepe, part of the Premier Division. Yeah, we're gonna have about 3 minutes now. So yeah, welcome to the channel. Let us know your predictions. Who do you think is gonna take game one? And yeah, I hope you guys enjoy. If you send a shout out, say hi, let us know where you guys are from. And then Chicken Boy can tell us about why this Mordekaiser is such a good pick into the Wukong. He explained it to
Okay,
me a
so
little earlier, so
yeah, so there's a couple of things. So the first one has to do with Wukong's passive. So Wukong's passive gives him, stacking armor and health. And armor is not going to help much against the Mordekaiser or any AP. So in general, an AP pick is not bad into the Wukong. The other reason I like Mordekaiser into the Wukong is the thing that makes Wukong so broken is that not just his ultimate, but the fact, that he can cast it twice. But it's all about that ultimate when it comes to Wukong. So as Mordekaiser, the best use to anti that, as an anti-Wukong is that he can ulti the Wukong when the Wukong ultis. So that only, he's sort of eating that Wukong and that the rest of his team, keeping the rest of his team safe. And then the other reason I like the Mordekaiser is that the Wukong is unlikely, especially if he's going to go something like a lethality build, he's not going to have much magic resist, especially not early. And we know that Mordekaiser's E, that pullback of his, also the passive on that gives him magic pen.
yes.
So, magic pen is, especially flat magic pen, is very nice into someone that's not building any magic resist. So all in all, I think this lane will favor the Mordekaiser, but it's still going to be a skill matchup. All the laning phase is always an element of skill matchup, and we also have to see what an impact the junglers will play. We know that Zac is a great lane ganker.
Okay. Yeah.
So yeah, let's see. I'm like I say, I'm surprised to see Lulu in a solo in the top lane. I think they were expecting, to have to put Lulu in the mid lane. I think this is maybe throwing them just a little bit. But yeah.
Yeah, I'm just I'm thinking about items in terms of the Wukong, and I'm pretty sure he's gonna rush those Mercury trades in the beginning. to get that magic resist as quickly as possible. But I know he does want to focus on the lethality, but he might maybe possibly have to build a death stance to get some sustainability and the healing on that. But I was also kind of just looking into this bottom lane and seeing with regards to what the dynamics there are, and I think it might be a little close in terms of trade. I think it just depends on who lands the right skills and the significant poke. I mean, and he does have that stun, and Nami does have the sustain, so it's going to be quite interesting to see how that lane turns out. Yeah, let's look and see with regards to the summoners and masteries, I suppose. Okay, a lethal tempo on a Caitlyn is a little different than normal. I mean, most of the time they normally take press to attack, but and a resolve as well. So it looks like she's kind of going tanky to survive, I suppose, against maybe the Mordekaiser ulti. But like you say, the Mordekaiser is most likely wanting to ulti that Wukong. Electrocute on the Wukong, yeah, like you said, does go with the lethality build. Electrocute on, thank you, War Masteru for the subscription or the follow. Yeah, Electrocute on the Annie, Conqueror, those two make sense. Area on the Lulu, that's good. Yeah, I think for me, just the ones that kind of stick out is the lethal, the...
Lethal tempo.
That's the one, yeah. Zypher guy, thank you so much for the follow. Yeah, do you think there's going to be an invade in the beginning? I don't see one, but looks
Yeah,
like
I
they're
don't
going
think
for
either of these teams want an invade in the beginning.
yeah, looks like it's just going to be, oh, maybe some action, yeah. War
Oh
Master,
wait,
got it wrong. But thanks for the correction, War Master. I see you. Okay, some poke coming down on the fiddle.
okay, so just like an
Yes,
FI,
this is Warren
it is
speaking
Lulu.
over here,
It is a Lulu sword.
aka
Sorry.
Dynasty, for whoever's watching. I'm not too sure who you are, but thank you for You're correct, it is Warren. So yeah, we just have the two wards coming out. You said it's the Lulu support.
Yeah, it is Lulu support.
Oh yes, and
Which
in the
means
mid lane.
Annie is going to be in that top lane. Yo.
It looks like she's setting up for the mid lane, yeah.
Okay.
Okay,
Yo.
fiddles over here.
That surprises me. I think from level 2 or 3, I think Annie's going to struggle. She's going to need some jungle help in this matchup. I really would have put the Mordekaiser into the Wukong, but let's see. Maybe they know more than I do.
So we have a fiddle starting on wolves, which is a little surprising. Makes sense with the heal, but nothing much happening. Poke coming down.
Yeah, so I mean, in the beginning, I sort of actually expect the Annie to try and push the Wukong in, use those resets on those Qs, and mana back to push it in, but she's actually getting pushed in, and this wave is going to bounce back towards the Wukong, which is really going to suit the Wukong. It's going to bring the Annie out by the time he gets to about level 3, by the time his jungler is about level 3, and I think it's really going to allow them to punish this Annie if she overextends. So she's going to need to ward a lot. In the top lane, I don't think we're going to see much happen there, to be honest. I think mostly it's going to happen mid, most of the action mid, and bot lane.
Yeah, I kind of agree with you there. I'm just really interested about this ward at the Raptors camp, seeing this Zac kind of going for his Raptors over there, which kind of gives his whole team information.
Yeah, that's a very good ward. I like to ward just a little bit closer to the river, in case the Zac actually comes from behind red buff, so that you can still see him, because this ward won't pick him up if he comes behind red buff for a gank.
Yeah, if he
but otherwise, yes,
wall,
you're right. It's a good ward. Giving his team information. Like I said earlier, this is a team game. It's a good ward. But yeah, because I mean he charge up if the Wukong is pushed, Zac could charge up that slingshot of his from the Raptor camp as well into the mid lane. So it's a good choice. And he playing safe.
Yeah, would you
Makes
not
sense.
maybe, in terms of the ward, maybe put it right on, I suppose, on the edge here, by the Raptors, a little bit, like you said, closer to the thing, but it should cover the whole river and the Raptor camp to kind of cover that. Here comes a potential gank by the Fiddles. He's going for it. He misses the silence, though, and he just decides to back away.
I'm not sure we're gonna see that much action early on. I mean, we see Wukong trying to bully the Annie at the moment. That makes sense. That's how he has to play this.
Good stun. EQ combo. Yeah, just a Conqueror. There's the Electrocute proc, so it was kind of about an even trade. I think the Annie wins slightly on that.
Yeah, but have a look at the farm. Wukong is definitely winning out in the farm, and I think it has to do with that early push in that he got. Top lane?
Oh. Yeah, see that fight? Flash down from the Ornn, flash follow from the Mordekaiser. He misses the Q, and he does get the first blood. Zac coming in for the gank at the bot lane. He does miss the knock up, but he does get the slingshot, and on the slow they do get the kill on the Lulu though. Aphelios uses. Okay, here comes the turnaround gank. They do get the Zac passive. The heal from the Fiddle. They're trying to kill that Zac. They do get the Zac. Here comes in the Wukong. The fear from the Lulu and the silence onto the Caitlyn trap. Great counter gank and roam by the Wukong. It looks like they're just going to push this lane out and most likely get back TP on the top lane. J Chipper, thank you for the follow. Yeah, pressure on the top lane continues, and yeah.
Move towards Drake here from the red team.
Zoza, thank you for the tip. I have looked into it. Yeah, I want you guys to kind of see the whole screen and all the action. We will talk about the items when we kind of get into that. I suppose if you guys want to keep it all the time.
To be able to see it.
Yeah, let me put
Maybe
that.
Just keep it open.
Not there.
I'm waiting for this Wukong to go back.
There you go. Now you can see all the items.
What he picks up first. Annie's gonna reset now. She pushed a nice big lane in there. After, depending on how much CS Wukong can pick up here, he's gonna have quite a sizable lead over the Annie, specifically because he got that kill as well.
Trade in the top lane.
Now that he's level 6, I really think Annie's going to have a tough time. Look, I mean, with her level 6 in the Tibbers, she can definitely put the Tibbers on top of the Wukong when he comes in. It's a definite option. I just don't know if she'll survive long enough for it to be meaningful.
Yeah, you're not wrong there. Ooh, here comes a potential gank from the Zac, but he does get spotted out. Now looking at the top lane. Oh, he misses the pullback in the top lane.
Yeah, so we see, what's that? Mercury treads first from the Mordekaiser. So I think it's sort of safe. I suppose it's fairly decent in-bolt damage. But, the fact that he hasn't taken any damage, you can see he is struggling just a little bit in these trades with the Ornn. I mean, we all know how broken this Ornn is in the bot lane.
Yeah, I'm watching it. Here comes the gank. Here comes the pull. Knock up onto the Caitlyn. Aphelios puts his turret down. Great use. The turnaround with the OT from the Fiddle. Great counter gank. And once again, the Fiddle comes clutch with the double kill in the bot lane. Yeah, the Fiddle is just reading the Zac's movements and kind of just always there for the counter gank.
Yeah, this is very good team play and map awareness from red side, from Millennium. Just well played.
Okay, we have an ult in the top lane against the Mordekaiser. He is stuck in there. The Ornn stuck in the realm. He is going to get taken down. Simple kill basically there. We go back to the bot lane. Zac's back with the gank by himself though. He does get the OT. He is going to get the knock up onto the Caitlyn. Aphelios should be able to finish this. He see the Zac kind of gifting the Aphelios the kill, trying to get him ahead, and a huge wave kind of crashing in the top lane as well.
Sure. So I think good return fight there for the blue side for Troepe. You know, evening up the score there, almost evening up the gold. They're still about 500 gold behind, but that's really not the end of the world, and it depends on also, you know, where the sort of the waves are and how many creeps are in the wave. So 500 gold is nothing to be worried about. But yeah, we see Wukong is trying to roam now as well. You know, he has that ulti. I think, and you know, bot side, I think is definitely the place he wants to look for. Those are some squishy targets for him to land that knock-up on.
Yeah. Just yeah, kind of he has a reset. Wukong has been bullying Annie in the mid lane basically. Oh, we have a fight in the top lane again. Q comes down on the Mordekaiser. He is maxing that obliterate. Yeah, the Ornn is actually kind of struggling against this Mordekaiser, which I suppose is not unexpected. Mordekaiser does kind of thrive against melee champions.
Yeah, look, I mean, it depends on whether he can land that pullback and the W, the Q. Of course, I mean, most of his damage in those trades is going to come from that Q. But yeah, I think the other thing is the summoner spell is, I would give the advantage to the Mordekaiser as well. I think Conqueror is definitely the better summoner spell in those extended lane fights. You know, giving him some of that heal. We see the fight in the mid lane potentially.
He's going in for it. He does get the EQ, misses the ulti though, unfortunately. He does have that reactivate, but I don't think he's gonna go in.
If we go back to the top lane, I think these guys are gonna fight each other.
Yep, here comes the ulti again. Ulti coming out from the Ornn, he does knock him up, he gets that charge, does land the Q, but the flash down from the Ornn. I'm not too sure if it was necessary to flash.
Bot lane?
But he did, yeah, I'm watching it, I'm just checking this top lane. Oh, he does almost get the tower dive, but he does take a tower shot. Ooh, here comes the stun from the Aphelios. Does get the knock up into the Nami wave. Here comes the ulti, the Fiddles again, once again with the counter gank. Ooh, the Caitlyn trying to push. She does have her ulti, she does put it on the Aphelios, which is a little strange. But the Annie is coming down, she does see the ward, so it looks like Millennium are just going to back out. We do see Wukong coming in the top lane for a single kill. Yeah, I'm in there. He goes.
Yes,
EQ kind of just gets it, and then yeah, Millennium are starting up that Drake, Cloud Drake at the moment, so that is going to help them. We have an Inferno Drake next.
Yeah, so I think that was a kill for the Wukong, getting that shutdown on the Mordekaiser. Like you said, the Mordekaiser is starting to win out against this Ornn. So yeah, maybe I stand corrected. You know, the Mordekaiser also proving a pretty good counter pick into that Ornn. I suppose also you can serve the same purpose as he does against the Wukong, in the sense that the moment that Ornn comes through, he could just ulti the Ornn and sort of remove that big team fight engage that the Ornn brings. It looks like Wukong is trying to
lane gank
again.
in the bot lane. Doesn't get the knock up, unfortunately. Oh, almost the bubble from Nami. We do see the Wukong roam once again, and they do spot out this ward. The Annie has responded, and he does get the knock up. The Annie gets the stun, and that's a dead Nami. Wukong doesn't decide to go in, and that's probably about the end of that.
Yeah, so I mean, the one thing that makes Annie pretty good is her ability to burst one person down. Well, sometimes multiple people. I think it's a bit more difficult
just
to
quickly,
burst.
we do have a bit of a fight in the top lane. He does get the pullback and the Q into the passive, but that looks like the end of that.
Yeah,
No, thought there was going to be a bit more action.
They're a bit too tanky at this stage. We see something in the mid lane now.
Yeah, I do see. Oh, ooh, the Wukong dodges it with the the dash, but he does get the knock-up stun. Oh, Ignite comes out, the ulti from the Wukong, but it's too late. Nice, like
Yeah,
you were
so
saying, warding that Replicam kind of needs to be a priority for the Wukong.
yeah, it looks like red team is moving. You know, there's been a bit of a lane switch now. I think they want to focus on this Herald. I'm not necessarily a fan of that, just because of if we look at what they're trading. So you can see blue side they still have their bot lane in the bottom lane, and they're picking up. I think they picked up about 1, maybe 2 plates there, and they might even be able to take this turret in the time that it.
Yeah,
No,
the
not
turret,
quite.
the turret plates did drop, but they did manage to get those 2, like you said.
Yeah, no, this turret is going to drop. And that's first turret. I really think that gives them the advantage fighting the top lane.
Oh, you're a little ahead of me, I think. Oh, here comes the gang. Oh, the double knock up onto the Nami and the Caitlyn. Pull back, and then here comes the Fiddle ulti, but the Mordekaiser does dodge it with his ulti. The Death Realm is onto that Caitlyn, does get the kill. The Zac is lining up the knock-up. Oh, the flash out from the Fiddles to get away from that. Great. Counter gank has the Wukong once again. Does get the EQ and does get that kill. Here comes the Ornn. Is he gonna go for it? He does try, but he does miss that knock-up, unfortunately. And here comes the Rift Herald coming down. They are pushing in the mid lane, so they might get a 2-for-1 answer on this. Yeah, 2 towers for the 1, but we'll see how far this Rift Herald goes.
Yeah, the only way this is worth is if they can drop this turret as well, and even there, I'm not sure. Taking that mid, oh, there's another fight here. The Zac is going to try fight
Yeah, here it comes.
the Fiddles to stop that turret from going down, but I don't know.
The knock-up. Does get the silence. The heal from the creeps. Ooh, the slingshot, stretchy arms. Oh, he's gonna get away. Oh, he does get the kill eventually with the ulti.
Yeah, so well
Did have to
played
use
there.
his flash on that though.
And again, you know, this for me all comes down to the focus of the Rift Herald by the red team. I don't think Rift Herald is, you know, really worth. I think it's one of those things that you take if there's nothing else on the map to take, or if there's no other objective. I understand, you know, the sort of temptation to take it because of how good it is at pushing down turrets. But I mean, like we saw, for them to get that turret or to get the drop in the top lane, by the time that turret fell from Rift Herald, they'd already lost bot lane and mid lane. And you know, that outer mid lane turret is arguably the most important turret to have or to take down in this early game. It gives you just so much more entry into the other team's jungle, the ability to ward and to track them and to move around. So I'm not convinced that was worth for the red team, and you know, I'd want to see them rethink that strategy in the next game about going for a Rift Herald like that.
We do see the Infernal Drake up. The Nami is trying to check this, but I'm not too sure. I just want to see in terms of vision. You see red. There goes the Drake. Yeah, here comes the Ornn ulti. Does get no knockup, but Mordekaiser does take the Fiddles, but that leaves the Wukong open for the ulti onto the Aphelios. The Ornn's trying to kill the Aphelios, but the Aphelios is doing so much damage, kills the Ornn in response. The Ignite out. There's the kill from the Annie with the final Q and the electrocute proc. Mordekaiser does try to pull the Caitlyn back over the wall, but that is a 4-for-1 trade to
I'm not
Troepe.
sure what the Zac is trying to. Okay, no, nothing's going on there.
Oh, he's trying to go for it. Yeah, he does get the healing out and kind of just bounces away with his ulti.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, I think we can see that the two sort of priority or the two main sources of damage, I think, coming from either side. So you got the Mordekaiser is really sort of starting to wreck from the blue side, whereas the Wukong from the red side. But the problem is, then you also have Aphelios, who's now starting to get some items under his belt. He's starting to do a lot more damage than the Caitlyn. And the Annie is starting to be quite effective as well. I mean, her ability to basically burst one target, I think, is definitely giving Troepe the advantage, giving blue side the advantage in these team fights. So I think red side need to maybe not look for a team fight for a little while. They need to scale up a little bit more. Ornn needs to get some levels under his belt. He's 2 levels behind the Mordekaiser at the moment, level 11 to level 13. I mean, he really wants to get those upgrades for himself and then for the team for him to really be worthwhile. So I think red side need to just sort of calm things down a bit and just focus on farming and just not bleeding any more gold. I mean, the gold advantage is not anything out of hand. It's less than 4,000 gold in favor of blue team. So I think, red team are definitely still in this. But yeah, I think they just got to slow things down a little bit and just play a little bit more carefully.
Yeah, I was just about to say, after that last
Mid
fight
lane.
that we saw in the Inferno, here comes the ulti from the Fiddles over onto the Lulu. The ulti from the Caitlyn does get that kill. Aphelios' ulti does take the team quite low, and the TP in from the Mordekaiser. And disengage, nice, just a single pick there. Getting that support, definitely a good pick. Yeah, and kind of just reset and going back into the mid lane. They do have the Nami to kind of sustain, and the Fiddle is probably just going to heal.
Annie and the Wukong in the mid lane.
Yeah, see there at the bottom. Oh, the burst coming up from the Annie. Can he get away? He does get the speed bonus from the Nami. Whew. Annie is definitely posing a threat to that Wukong. That lethality build is not very tanky.
Yeah, we have another fight in mid lane.
Yeah. Slingshot coming out from the Zac, and the stretchy arms does knock out the Caitlyn and the Fiddles. Root comes down, but they do get the Zac passive pops out though. Mordekaiser takes Caitlyn into the realm. They turn Fiddles into a whimsical beast. Mordekaiser's gonna kill that Caitlyn, and the Zac stretchy arms knocks out the Fiddles and the Ornn, and getting that double kill once again. It's a 3-for-0 trade.
Yeah, and this is why I was saying, with any sort of disrespect or anything, red side really needed to not take any team fights for the next little while. They just weren't strong enough.
Ooh,
and that
Lulu.
for me is just evidence of that, and it looks like they're going to move on to the Baron.
Yeah, Lulu did just get taken down by the Wukong, trying to ward out the bush over there, but he does look like he wants to go for the fight. He goes in, he does ulti, gets the shutdown on the Aphelios, which is quite a bit of influx of gold, and it does stop the Baron, which is, I mean, a good purpose. He went in with that goal and he achieved it.
Yeah,
Did give up his life, but yeah.
So probably well played, making the best of a bad situation there. By red side, they definitely wanted to stop that Baron. I think if they conceded Baron there, that was maybe not GG, but definitely a big step in favor of the blue side. So the fact that he managed to cancel that is definitely worth. But as you say, on top of that, big gold injection. We see Wukong, if you switch to the gold quickly, the individual gold, you can actually see Wukong now has the most gold in the game because of that shutdown that he got on the Aphelios, who actually before that had the most gold in the game. So definitely bringing things back in favor of the red team. I still think they need to be careful in these team fights. I think it looks like both teams are building up for a possible fight around the dragon. I don't think either team wants to give this up.
There's another
But
Infernal.
red side can definitely afford to give it up more than the blue team can, because they already have the 2 drakes on the red side. But all their ultis are up. I mean, they could fight, but I would rather try and drag blue team around the map if I was red team, and try and get that bot turret that's quite low. So maybe trade bot turret for the drake if I was red team.
Okay, we do see the Fiddles kind of setting up for this ulti on the backside of the Drake. Wukong does get the stretchy arms on him, but nothing kind of going from this. They're kind of just stalling,
yeah, I think
waiting.
Both are scared to engage. I think Wukong...
Oh, they're starting the Drake.
Side.
They're starting it. Nami is going to check. Here comes the slingshot. The ulti from the Fiddles. The Wukong doesn't get in there though. Caitlyn does get the first kill. There goes the Wukong on the bad line. Does get the Annie. Mordekaiser does get the double kill though. And it's the Ornn and Caitlyn kind of stuck in the pit. The stretchy arms does knock them up. Aphelios is going to get the 1. And the double kill for the Aphelios. So once again we see a 2-for-5 trade. Ace on the
Yeah,
red
and they're
side.
moving back towards Baron, which makes sense. I mean, there's no one up from red side. They have the damage from the Aphelios and the tankiness from the Zac to take this. They probably don't even need the Mordekaiser here, but it definitely helped to take it down faster. But yes, I mean, this is what I was alluding to. Red team was not supposed to be taking any team fights at this stage in the game. Unfortunately, they just didn't have the items that they need. They didn't have the advantage that they need. I really think they should have just taken that turret in the bot lane. It's so low. That's standing gold on the map. Take the gold. Give up the Drake. I mean, you have two of your own. They only had one. It's only a second Drake for them. I think it was a little bit greedy from them, a little bit. But it could be first game nerves as well. You know, and definitely this isn't the end of the game. But 5,000 gold lead, almost 6,000 gold lead now for the blue team. They've got an ADC that's ahead. They've got a top laner that's probably nobody can deal with. And they've got a pretty fed Annie as well, who's sort of gone under the radar here. But I mean, we've seen multiple times this game her ability to burst someone down. I'm not sure that red side is going to be able to come back into this one. They might have to start thinking about the next game and if they're going to ban something like this Mordekaiser and this Aphelios.
Yeah, I honestly thought that team fight might have gone a little bit differently with the Wukong coming from the back and the Fiddle OTs over into the Dragon Pit. I thought that was going to end a bit differently, but as I saw the Wukong kind of backed away at the crucial moment and then re-engaged, didn't really catch many people with his ulti, but I suppose like you say, they are a little bit behind, so it's a little tricky.
I see underprivileged African kid is asking us to sound a
Sound
bit
more enthusiastic.
This cold front is dampening my enthusiasm, but I will definitely try to up the enthusiasm. Thank you for the feedback, underprivileged African kid.
Do you see, yeah, the blue actually being taken from the Annie, given to the Aphelios. Ornn's looking for the kill, but I don't think he was really going to get that against the Aphelios.
So it looks like if we have a look at the items, it looks like we're getting a Death's Dance third item out of the Aphelios, and this is something that I noticed. Okay, I'm just cognizant of what might happen in the mid lane, so
yes, I'm watching.
feel free to cut me off if they start a fight. But I've been seeing a lot of this, like a lot of not priority, but pretty much everyone picking up Death's Dance. You know, ADCs, bruisers, anything except maybe an AP champion taking this Death's Dance. And I think, you know, it's because it builds out of that Aegis of the Legion, you know, the 30 armor and the 30 magic resist that it gives, on top of the fact that it's basically a lifesteal item. Okay, I'm going to stop there.
Oh, there's nothing yet. Here comes the Nami and the Ornn. Does get the knock up onto the Zac. OT comes from the Annie and does delete the Fiddles. The OT on the back side from the Wukong. He does get the first proc, but it doesn't look like he does get the second proc onto the Mordekaiser. But the Mordekaiser is holding off 3. And the Ornn just kind of, the Zac comes in, trying to help that Mordekaiser. He does get the shutdown onto the Mordekaiser. The slingshot arms onto the Nami and the Wukong. Ornn is kind of still holding this. It does look like they're going to get that kill onto the Zac. Yeah, and that's a 4-for-2 trade, so definitely a better team fight coming out from Millennium. And
massive team fight.
Kind of putting
red team there.
Troepe rethinking their strategy and maybe their objective stance.
Yeah, I mean, if I'm Troepe, I understand the idea from them and the thinking from them to just 5-man push. I mean, they've won every team fight up until that team fight, so I understand grouping as 5. But that being said, I mean, they have this Mordekaiser that no one can really deal with on from the red side. So, you know, put him in the side lane, let him push probably either the bot or the top on his own while your team split pushes. So yeah, maybe a possible momentary lapse in judgment there from the blue team, and the red team definitely back in this, you know, showing that they're not out of this game. This is not GG. They definitely still have the lead. There's still about a 3,000 gold lead.
Sorry, just to interrupt you. Aphelios is going on the bot lane. He does get the stun down onto the Ornn. The Fiddlesticks is coming in, but he does have his team. They do see the Fiddles, and they're kind of backing away from that fight. There is the Fiddle. And
leave that, but I think they're going to concentrate on the Drake now.
Yes. Zac does get the slingshot, but he misses the stun up. Nice 90 caliber net from the Caitlyn, but it does look like the Drake's going to go down to Troepe. And no contesting there. Yeah, it looks
Yeah,
like
but I think that's the right call. I think that's the right call. You know, it's not Sol yet. Just give up that fight. You know, your Ornn was low. He wasn't in that fight, so let them have it. We see a fight in the mid lane.
we see a push in the mid lane at the moment. Fiddles with the Crow Storm over the wall. He does get it straight onto the Aphelios. Wukong goes onto the back lane. He does miss. He does flash for the ulti onto the Aphelios. The Aphelios is still alive from the Lulu ulti. Mordekaiser does take Wukong into the death realm, if I'm not mistaken. Fiddles is still alive from the heal. But Caitlyn's trying to push down that Mordekaiser. Mordekaiser does eventually get the Q onto the Wukong and kills him. And that's a 0 for 1 trade. So yeah, not much. Mordekaiser just takes that ulti from the Caitlyn and kind of gets out alive. He's
Yeah, I mean that ulti was very underwhelming from the Caitlyn, to be honest. I mean, she is 12,000 gold behind the Mordekaiser. He doesn't actually have that much armor, but you know, he has the Knight's Vow, which gives him some armor. He has the Sonya's Hourglass, which gives him some armor, and he is, you know, fairly tanky with his W as well. But yeah, just again, I think that Mordekaiser is really showing to be a clutch pick. And I think it's something that Red Team are really going to have to re-look at in their next pick and ban phase for the next game.
yeah, I feel like
We
he's
see a potential bot in the bot
normally
lane. I think they
holding
want to kill
out
this Ornn.
2 or 3 people. Yeah, here comes the Annie. The Zac does get the slingshot. Stun from the Annie. Stretchy arms does get the knockup once again. We do have the unstable kind of coming around. Ornn's trying to turn this around, but it
Ooh, and then
doesn't look
return
like he's
to the
going to
mid
get
lane
it.
as well.
Yeah, back to the mid lane. The Mordekaiser does get shut down. We will go back for that one. I just want to check if there's not a fight coming up maybe. I am going to return to that Mordekaiser fight. It just looks like there's going to be a fight in the mid lane over here. Philips is kind of clearing the wave. No, it does look like a
No,
reset,
there's
so
no
let's
fight.
just
You
jump
can go back.
back
Quickly
to
go
this.
back.
So we do see Mordekaiser in the mid lane here with the Caitlyn. Nami's coming around from the backside in the mid lane. Yeah, nothing much. Just the speed
Come
up
back
from
to life.
the knock up. Okay, back to live. I'm gonna try catch this. We see the fight by the Baron. Wukong does get the knock up onto the Phyllis on the Ace and the Hole does come out. OT from the Crowstorm from the Fiddles does come out, and the reactivation of the Wukong OT does get the double kill onto the Fiddles, if I'm not mistaken. So yeah, definitely proving that.
Yeah, thanks, Riot, for breaking Wukong and breaking League of Legends.
What?
We see Wukong still has the gold advantage if you switch over to the gold, while Red Team takes their first Baron, the second Baron of the game, and just showing how close this game is. They still haven't taken it down, but Zac is nowhere near this. He's literally on the other side of the map, so they'll take this without being contested. And sure, there we have it. Basically even game. I mean, there's 1,000 gold difference here. Turrets are fairly even. But yeah, with this Baron buff, we'll have to see how they can siege. I mean, we know how good Caitlyn is at sieging, so you know, I want to see Red Team really put this Baron buff to use, see if they can even take an inhibitor down.
We have Warmaster cheering on Era Millennium over here, trying to get them to clutch this game out and hopefully pull out the win. But yeah, definitely a good team fight there by the Baron, utilizing that advantage with the Mordekaiser. And yeah, we do see a Drake coming up in about 1 minute and 10 seconds. It is sold for Troepe, so we're gonna have to just keep an eye on that. I'm pretty sure there's gonna be a fight over there.
Yes, I mean, Red Team don't want to give up Infernal buff. It's a pretty strong soul to give over. So I think we'll definitely see a team fight there. But I mean, the fact that both teams are so close in gold now, I think the next team fight is going to be really, really close. I think the Mordekaiser has to ulti the Wukong. I mean, the Wukong is becoming pretty ridiculous now. You know, sitting on basically 15,000 gold. That's about 2,000 gold up on anyone else in this game. Yeah, they really need to. The blue side want to keep the Wukong out of that next team fight, whereas obviously Red Team want the Wukong in there.
Okay, here comes a potential fight. Maybe we see just clearing wards. I am just going to switch between that vision. So we do have the blue side vision over here. As you can see, the river is basically dark. They don't have any vision. You see the Caitlyn traps coming down. On the other side, they don't really much have. Yeah, here comes a face check, a slow into the Ornn. He doesn't want to get the knock up. But here comes the Ornn ulti into that channel. Does get an awesome ulti from the Fiddlesticks. The Mordekaiser does take the Wukong out, so he is still there. The Aphelios does ulti, which is a great spreader on the... He comes in with the chakrams, kind of healing up, but the Wukong does do the ulti. Wukong does get taken down. The Caitlyn is still trying to do those damages. The stretchy arm does eventually get him, and Troepe take that team fight, even though the Ornn ulti and the Fiddle ulti kind of come into that, and they do get the Infernal Soul, which is going to add a lot of bonus to this Aphelios coming down into future team fights.
Oh, good lord. He's going to be such a disaster to deal with. Oh my goodness gracious me. I think we're going to see an inhibitor go down in the mid lane now. I don't think they can finish, but let's see how much they can push.
They are pushing this mid lane, like you said.
Oh, there's still about 13 seconds left on that Wukong. I think they're going to try finish. Nah, they're going to back away. I think it's the right call. I think it would be really risky. The Wukong is just about up. Caitlyn's just about up. Yeah, rather back off. You know, clear out any vision in the enemy jungle. You can clear out any camps that might be alive, and then just look to reset. There's a wave to catch top side by the looks of things for blue side and bot side. So yeah, geez, great team fight there for the blue side. Clutch ulti there from the Mordekaiser to keep the Wukong out, and again, we've said it several times this game, this Mordekaiser is really coming through clutch for blue side. Great pick.
I think also
and, great execution.
Yeah, just being able to, that Lulu coming, like also playing such an important role, keeping that Aphelios alive to intentionally keep that damage coming out no matter what. And I think that was the wild growth, definitely making sure that he stayed alive there with the shield, basically keeping or pushing them through that team fight to the victory in that specific team fight.
Well, I mean, the thing is, you've now got an Aphelios with 107 base armor, which is quite ridiculous for an ADC actually, and that's just, you know, courtesy of that Death's Dance.
Yeah.
Plus he has the Phantom Dancer with the passive there that gives him the shield, the lifeline. Plus the Lulu with her shields, and the Ardent Sensor, which is just such a broken item on something like a Lulu. And then, you know, just that insane lifesteal that we see with those, the chakrams, I think, coming out of a late game Aphelios. Yeah, I don't know how they're going to deal with this guy. I mean, obviously they want the Wukong on top of him, but I think other than the Wukong, I don't think anyone on red team is going to be able to kill this Aphelios.
Yeah, I think they're going to have to try, possibly do a pincer move or try attack from two angles, kind of have the Fiddlesticks ulting from the front and the Wukong ulting from the back once again, or something like that, to try and split up this fight and separate the Aphelios from all the tanks in his front line, and possibly maybe almost deleting the Lulu first. We do have a push in the top lane. He does take that turret down. We do see Ornn in the bot lane, but yeah, hopefully maybe killing the Lulu first before the Aphelios, or getting the Lulu to use that ulti on herself more than the Aphelios. Is that possibility? But we do see them pushing in the top lane. Caitlyn just kind of clearing this wave, making sure that there is nothing. We do have Wukong sitting in the wind.
In the wind?
Wings. That's the way. But yeah, nothing really coming. They do have that pink ward kind of spotting team moving down here. Lulu is going to spot that out.
So I agree with what you said earlier.
Oh, the Ornn does get the knock up. He does get the slow, but
nothing will come of that. Yeah, so I mean, you definitely make a good point with the Wukong trying to come in from the one side, the Fiddles from the other side with those ultis, and that's why, you know, vision is going to be so important for the blue side. Blue side are still grouping together. Looks like they're going to try and take on the Wukong, but you know, he's pretty difficult to catch.
Yeah, I just want to highlight.
Looks like they're setting up for the Baron actually.
Yes.
So I think if blue team take this Baron, I think they'll be able to just push mid.
They have started it. I do see there is no vision on the red side, but let's see if there is going to be a fight. They are continuing with the Baron. The Caitlyn does clear out that pink ward. Zac is just using his unstable method to kind of heal up the Wukong, and it does look like it's going to be a front to back kind of fight. Nothing too crazy. We do see the Fiddles maybe over the wall, but nothing too bad. They continue with it. Here comes the Ornn ulti. Mordekaiser does take into the Ornn. The Wukong does get on the backline, but he does miss his ulti flash for that. The Annie is still alive. Fiddles is healing for quite a bit. Zac on the backside. Mordekaiser is just wreaking havoc, and yeah, the Aphelios with those chakrams just bringing out all the damage.
That's GG.
And that's
GG has the
again
teleport
another
coming in from the
4-4-1.
Mordekaiser.
Yep, TP in the mid lane.
Yeah, Ornn doesn't have his ult. He has not nearly enough wave clear. This is gonna be GG. Sure,
Especially with
great.
Aphelios on those. Oh, he doesn't have the chakrams anymore. He does have the gravitum.
Oh, flash forward.
Yeah, flash forward into the gravitum. The Q does come out, but there's the
A bit of
slingshot
the
from
ticket
the
is still an Ornn.
Zac.
I mean, the guy is still.
And yeah, they're just gonna push down these turrets and oh, slingshot from the Zac. They're trying to go for the kill.
That's just a
Nope,
bit of fun at the
Mordekaiser
end.
just focusing on the Nexus, and that is
Yes, GG.
GG. Some
Sure, well
definite
played.
close
Well
team
played,
fights
both
and
teams.
yeah, back and forth. Troepe eventually getting that win, and we're seeing that coming out. I just want to close these notifications for you guys. Oh, if it... Yeah, what do you think they could change? I mean, yo, that last team fight, I feel like they definitely was able to juggle the Baron damage onto the Zac with those unstable matter and him just kind of healing up and being able to sustain that Baron damage with his team not really taking too much. And then the fight came out and it was such a chaotic team fight trying to catch all that action.
Yeah,
Yeah,
maybe next time you can before the game ends, you can always just go back in the
and
video
show
and we
the
can see that Baron fight again. But again, I mean, it came down to, for me, it came down to that Mordekaiser. I mean, there was one of two things he was shutting down. He was either shutting down in every team fight, he was shutting down the Wukong's ulti, or he was shutting down the Ornn ulti. And in that team fight at the end, we saw him shutting down the Ornn ulti. I mean, the moment the Ornn blew that horn of his, the Mordekaiser ultied him to keep him out of the fight and to keep that Ornn horn and that charging ram out of the fight, and just such clutch play from PapaSmurfy, the top laner for Troepe, on the Mordekaiser. My MVP, I'm not sure who your MVP was. Aphelios had a great game. Mickey Mouse on the Annie also had a very good game, but I honestly think the Mordekaiser was the swing vote, so to speak, or the thing that sort of broke red team's back.
Yeah, like you say, I think, I mean, the Mordekaiser was bringing out those clutch, and it was very tricky because, like you were saying, he was only able to kind of OT one person, and he kind of had to decide, was it the Ornn OT, was it the Wukong OT? Even the Fiddlesticks OT was a potential threat that he could essentially just take into that death realm.
I think he did do that as well.
But there were just, yeah, there were so
Dragon.
many OTs to try to, or individuals to try to get rid of, which was maybe a little bit too difficult for him. But I mean, they did win most of the team fights. I don't know. I think your MVP is maybe correct, but I might give it to the Lulu actually. Just being able to keep that Aphelios alive. I know the ultis were very important in terms of Era Millennium's team comp, but that fight by the dragon where they were all clustered into that little channel there by the backside in the tri-bush, and the Lulu's ability to kind of keep that Aphelios alive, I think kind of swayed it back into the favor of Troepe and allowed the Aphelios to get exactly the items he needed. We see he wasn't even max. He still had his Doran's Blade relaxing there, kind of adding those beginner stats to his abilities and his power, but I might give it to the Lulu just because of that fact in being able to keep the Aphelios alive and knowing that he was their main source of damage. So yeah, congratulations to Troepe. Yeah, definitely a great game.
But a close game.
Very
both teams
close.
could have won that game. I mean, both of them got Barons. Both of them won at least one team fight. Both of them had advantages at different stages in different lanes. Just all-round good performance from both teams. But yeah, Troepe just managing to pull it through. Look, I mean, you make a case for the Lulu there, and also, I mean, Aphelios did very well. I think everyone on blue side, played very well. The funny thing is, at the end, I don't know if you saw, but I think from what I saw, I think Wukong still had the most gold in the game by the end of the game.
Let me check. We can check. Yeah, we are still on the final screen. Yeah, he's sitting on about 16. Oh, almost. Aphelios did overtake him by about 100 gold.
Okay, but
yeah, 80
I
gold
mean,
or so.
I mean, they dealt very well with Wukong, did Troepe, but I think this just still comes back to the fact that he is such a broken champion right now. And I mean, even when your team's not doing well, that guy's ability to just burst people down is so disgusting. But yeah, I mean, I'm curious to see how much priority gets given to the Wukong in our next pick and ban. I still think he'll, if he doesn't get banned, he'll definitely get something like a first or second pick. But yeah, I mean, you speak about, how effective something like the Lulu was. I wonder, I mean, as Millennium, do you ban something like the Lulu? And I don't think so. I think if you're Millennium, you can ban something like the Morde if you don't have an answer to it. You can potentially still ban the Aphelios as well. But I'm not sure something like Lulu is something that you really need to focus a ban on.
No, I think in terms of maybe, so I do see just for everyone watching, we are going into the second game, but I think, yeah, just going into this one, I would rather possibly do I would rather ban the Aphelios than the Lulu. I feel like the Lulu, yes, she was clutching keeping that Aphelios alive, but I think Aphelios is still quite a broken ADC if you are able to play him correctly and use those guns to their abilities and kind of their strengths and utilize the different effects that they have. But yeah, I think the Aphelios is definitely more of a threat from for an ADC perspective. Yeah, I would rather ban the Aphelios than the Lulu, like you said. But yeah, we are just kind of getting into the second game.
Lulu.
1-8 hero support. I mean, I did give you the MVP, so.
SubSaharanNick, guys did well. Don't undersell yourselves. It was a good game.
It was a great game. Definitely between you guys, the team fights were action-packed, trying to bring all those kills and the action between both sides. I mean, the fights normally did get split up, but yeah, great effort there. Um, yeah, I am kind of doing some more research and trying to zoom out and kind of bring you all the action, but for now I will try and catch as much as the action as I can. But yeah, I think it's going to be another great game for the guys who are still watching. Yeah, let me know what your predictions might be for this game. Um, yeah, I think, oh, I'm pretty sure this is going to be another interesting game. We're going to have to see how it turns out, and I think all of us are kind of hoping for a game 3. We do have the other game starting now, unfortunately, so we might be able to bring that second game of that series to you guys if we do get there in time. I'm just, that's not him, sorry. I do want to. We'll see if we can.
I keep getting network errors with your stream, just by the way.
I'm not sure if that's my stream or your internet. No, I'm
I think
joking.
it might be my internet.
Yeah, because I've also got that recently. But yeah, do see we are going into the ban and the champ bans and selects. I just need to change this quickly. But we do have the center ban out once again. Not
But
unexpected.
what's interesting is why, the fact that we have Troepe on blue side again, with the first pick again. I thought maybe they would switch sides. I'm not sure how the side selection works.
So, as far as I know, for the second one, it is just up to Era on which side they would like to take, and I suppose
Okay,
they
so probably
prioritize
chose
the last pick over the
Wukong
first
ban.
pick. But there's a
Thank
Wukong
you.
ban, which is
Thank you. I want to
I
probably see
think
an
it's
Ezreal.
still clutch, but
Yeah, there's the Ezreal.
the pick, you mean?
Well, they're gonna look at it. Yes, there we
Okay.
go. Okay. Oh my God, I'm such a.
Pro.
I'm basically a prophet. So with Yumi off the table, we saw them take Nami last. I don't know if the Nami, I wasn't that convinced. I wonder if they might take something
More engaging.
like a Thresh.
Nautilus, maybe?
Nautilus has been quite a good pick as well. Okay,
There's the
so yeah,
Mordekaiser.
the answer to the Mordekaiser is to play the Mordekaiser.
Not a bad one.
Yeah.
Especially with that Wukong out the way. Although you,
Yeah,
I mean, you mention that the Mordekaiser is a counter to the Wukong, so. But I think.
Well, he proved to be a counter to any sort of team
Or
fight.
there's the Lulu still.
And the
Oh
Lulu
no,
pickup.
Lulu. Yeah, I suppose they're
Yeah.
just
Okay,
taking
so they
away
don't want to
from
play
Troepe.
against it.
Yeah.
I think we might see something like a Karma, even maybe a Soraka, but I'm not sure about a Soraka. Something like a Karma to go with the Ezreal here.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. I mean, we normally do see like a Lux or a Brand or those things, but I don't think that's gonna come out in these team fights.
No, I don't think so. I mean, so someone that has slipped through the whole of the last game
Are we gonna see a
that usually
pick?
gets priorities Sett. Oh my god,
there we
there
go.
he is. Oh my god. I mean,
That was a guess. That
I may
wasn't
as well
a.
just read people's
That was a
minds.
guess
So,
one, not a.
but this is an interesting one because is that Sett support? I mean, we've seen Sett support be very. He's quite useful in the support role, but I mean, he can play literally every lane, except for ADC, but we know he's not ADC.
And
And
possibly
again,
middle.
Hecarim, I mean, is it Hecarim top
Jungle?
or is it Hecarim jungle? I would suspect it's Hecarim jungle, and so that means the Sett is still a flex. He could still be top or support.
Oh, I mean, he could essentially still be jungle and the Hecarim goes top, Sett
Go
goes
top,
jungle.
yeah.
I mean, the possibilities are still kind of endless. I know,
Yeah. I think
keeping us on the edge of our seats here.
Yeah, a good draft here from
Vayne.
Troepe.
It's
Oh
the
my
Vayne.
god. Okay. Okay.
The
So
Vayne, baby.
yeah, who's gonna pilot that?
I mean, well, I mean, they do have the Ezreal. It could be an Ezreal middle. I mean, it's a possibility. They have done it before. Well,
No,
not the specific team. It's
this is Ezreal in the bot
but
lane. I will almost guarantee that.
I think that poke is relatively good, and I mean, if that Sett does get the ulti onto the Mordekaiser, I think what I would really like to see is if the Mordekaiser can get his ulti off before the Sett ulti lands to
Oh
kind
my
of
god.
stop that damage coming through onto his team. I would love to see if that could be or happen in a team
But
fight.
isn't he disabled in that animation?
Well, I think the moment as before he goes, I think you are able to, because I know like you can flash straight after the knockdown. So I'm not too sure. We would have to, like I said, I would love to see if that happens. I don't know if you guys have ever seen that happen. Let me know if you have. But
So
I
just
think
quickly,
that's going to be.
So yeah, we have 2 support bans on the red side in that ban phase. So they're obviously thinking that this is a Sett top. I would be inclined to think that this is a Sett in the solo lane. I don't think it's a Sett support. I think you'll really struggle against the Lulu and the Vayne. But that being said, I mean, if Sett pulls in something like the Lulu, where's she gonna go? I mean, she has no sort of, other than a flash, she has nowhere to get out. So it could still be a Sett support, but I don't think so. I think it's Sett top. I think it's Hecarim jungle.
And Trundle jungle on the other side?
Okay, so they are going for the hard engage support,
Lulu.
Leona.
Yeah, Leona, Lulu.
Yeah,
You see
I
that
think
Lulu play
Leona.
just stuck in my head.
Leona's a tricky one into the Vayne because of the Vayne's tumble, to land that ulti. But the moment she stunned the Vayne with sort of one of her spells, it's probably going to be a dead Vayne. And the safe pick mid lane that this actually drew a ban last game was that Orianna for, let me just check, for Mickey Mouse, I think it is, that usually plays it. Yes, so Mickey Mouse is getting his Orianna. He seems to be quite proficient on the Orianna. It's definitely a comfort pick for him.
And the wombo combo on that team is going to be disgusting. If they can get the
Oh my
Leona
god,
ulti into the Sett with the ball onto the Sett, Leona ulti,
Or the ball onto the
Orianna
Hecarim.
comes out after that. Yeah, onto the Hecarim as well. Yeah, Veigar's a good pickup. Definitely trying to stop that engage with the cage.
Yeah, look, I mean,
it's
obvious blue team wants to run just straight into the red guys. With this team comp, Hecarim's going to fly in, Sett's going to fly in, Leona's going to fly in. So yes, that's probably a quite a good sort of counter pick from like a map control perspective from the Veigar. I wonder if we're going to see the full sort of utility Veigar. I have seen some Glacial Augment Veigars, and then he goes utility build with something like the Twin Shadows and
to
the
add
Frozen
slow.
Hose and that sort of stuff, just to add that utility. So yeah, I'll be interested to see where
Yeah,
he
it's
goes.
tricky though because I suppose I mean they have that designated support. The Lulu can't really go much tankiness. She's definitely, I'm pretty sure, going to get that ardent sensor.
Oh, for
So
sure.
I mean, if he does go more of a utility build, it doesn't. I mean, he does have that passive with the ability stacking his AP, but they're not going to have much of like a significant AP presence if he does go that utility build.
No, so I mean, don't forget Mordekaiser.
No, well, yeah.
First of all. But the other thing is, yes, I mean, with Veigar's passive, I think if a late game Veigar with enough stacks from his passive and a death cap is probably 500, 600 AP.
Yeah, no, you're not wrong. Definitely he can get there, and I don't. Well, if he does go the AP build, it will be interesting to see if we can get him over 1,000 AP. I know that's like most
Gonna have
of
to
the
check
Vegas
that.
builds, yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, let us know. I see you guys are joined in. Let us know what you guys' thoughts are on these team comps, how they are going to maybe possibly play out, and who are you guys kind of supporting besides War Master? I know you supporting Era Millennium. But yeah, let us know, everyone else who's watching, what your thoughts are going to be on this prediction and who you might think is going to win. So, my question, I suppose, to you is, what do you think is going to happen in this game? Who do you think is going to be able to clutch this or bring it home or have the better team fights to possibly bring that victory to their team?
Look, before the Veigar pick, I was definitely giving the upper hand to blue side, to Troepe, just with that all-in such hardcore engage. So it's, I think Veigar's going to play a big role. I hope he realizes how important his placement of that baby
No
cage is
pressure.
going to be.
No
No
pressure.
pressure. But yeah, I still think no, this is a difficult one to call. I mean, it depends on how late it goes as well. I mean, the
That's what I was
later it
going to
goes, the
mention
more I
as well.
favor red team. I
Yeah.
mean, Vayne full items just disgusting.
And yeah, like we mentioned with
Veigar
the,
with
yeah.
1,000 APs disgusting. Mordekaiser with full item. Lulu with 3 or 4 items, including an Ardent Center, is going to keep that Vayne unkillable as well. So yeah, I think the pressure is maybe on blue team to try and end this as quickly as possible.
It's going to be also quite interesting to see how much poke or such is going to kind of come out from Troepe and see if the Ezreal is going to be able to land those Qs and kind of get the damage in before they kind of commit to those big team fights and bring that all that action kind of. I wonder if they're going to kind of wait it out and play like the patience game in the beginning, kind of get the Orianna QW poke coming out and then do the big engage, or if we're going to see just all in straight from the get-go kind of plays. It's going to be interesting to see that. Yeah, we're going to go into the masteries and ruin pages. I know I spoke quite about the last one. I just want to see with regards to like the ADCs supports. I know you more of a main and top. I know you've played quite a bit of Mordekaiser, not specifically the Diana's not in this game, but I do know you main that
Ooh,
Merle.
that looks like my Mordekaiser build with the Conqueror and the Domination in the secondary. Oh, it is Glacial Augment Veigar. Okay, I'm quite excited for that.
Okay, yeah, and I mean, on everything else is basically the same. You'll conquer on the Ezreal, which is right. Press attack on the Vayne, which is correct. Well, I mean, I say correct, but you can go whatever you want.
Yeah.
Airy on the Orianna, which is, yeah, and the Lulu, which is standard. Um, yeah, no, like real significant differences from what we see. I mean, you did kind of predict that Glacial Augment on the Veigar.
Yeah, he's all about that utility, and with the added advantage of even if he goes, even the fact that he goes utility with that passive, you're never gonna be able to disregard him.
Mm.
So yeah, no, I must say I like both of these team comps. It's just gonna come down to execution, I think. We see a bit of a face check from the Mortar into the Orianna ball,
Hey, you're ahead of
but
me.
nothing's gonna come of that.
You're ahead of me.
Okay,
Um,
let me just bring it back a little bit.
okay, we'll slow it down, yeah. Yeah, what was interesting for me,
There's a
there's a
bit of an
5-man.
invade here,
Yeah, I
but I don't
see.
think anything's going to come of this.
What was interesting for me to see is that there is sorry, I just want to get this up for you guys. What's interesting for me is to see the exhaust coming out on the Vayne and not the Lulu. There's the heal on the Lulu rather than the Vayne, which is quite, and we have the kind of the opposite on um, Troepe is the exhaust on the Leona, which makes sense. That's normally how supports play it. But
Yeah, it's really surprising. I mean, I suppose the Leona wants the exhaust to counter the Vayne. But I'm also surprised that she didn't go for the Ignite, because I mean, this is definitely a sort of all-in champion, Leona, so a little bit surprised not to see the Ignite on her. But yeah, I mean, I don't know what the reason is for the exhaust onto the Vayne. If she was against something like a Mordekaiser, I suppose it would be because of that one-on-one potential. I'm not sure who she's planning to exhaust. Maybe she's worried about the Hecarim diving onto her, and she wants the ability to, be able to exhaust him to keep herself alive. But yeah, we'll see if that has any sort of significance in this game. I don't think it's going to be the end of the world, to be honest. As long as Lulu's sort of always around the Vayne, it doesn't really matter which of them has the
we
heal.
do see a bit of a fight
Bit
in
of
the
a fight
top
in the
lane.
top lane.
Yes, he does pull him back. Does get that passive coming. He is only level 2. The pullback and the shield coming out from the Sett, kind of making that fight equal.
Okay,
In the bot
and
lane.
then switch
Yeah.
to the bot lane. You might
Okay,
want
I'm
to
just gonna
go back a
rewind
bit.
quickly for
Yeah.
you guys. Oh, I need to go back more. Okay, we do see, engaged level 2 on the Leona. Phase rush forwards with the Q. The Conqueror stacks coming out. Oh, and almost get the kill. The Vayne does dodge that last mystic shot coming out.
I tell you what, that is huge for blue side, getting an early advantage in this lane. I mean, forcing the Vayne back this early. I mean, she's going to miss this cannon minion. She's missed a couple of CS already because of that. I mean, she's down 10 CS and she's going to miss most of this wave. This is big for blue side spot lane. I mean, they got that turret plate as well. Yo, that's a big advantage.
Yeah, and we see what a 500 gold lead coming out in the beginning already. We do see the Hecarim maybe coming for a gank. Nope, he's just gonna go for the bot lane scuttle, and Trundle's gonna go for the top lane scuttle, so not much there. But yeah, like you said, this is gonna set Vayne back. I mean, we all know she struggles in the beginning, so it's definitely gonna maybe put a build on a slower path. But yeah, nothing much else than that. Do you see
How
a
much gold
record?
is Ezreal sitting on? 700. Okay.
Oh, wait,
So
there's
that's
a fight
fine.
in the top lane. We do see
Yeah.
the passive coming out, the shield
Oh
for
my
the healing, the pullback. The flash coming out. Is he gonna flash after him? He's not going to. Oh, he does flash with the W. Oh my word. I think he was just waiting for that shield to kind of end. And we do see a fight in the bot lane potentially. We do see the Trundle kind of going for this.
Hecarim hovering.
Yeah, he does go
He's
for
just
it.
gonna
He did
take
use
away
the
the
smite,
crown.
and he did smite it away. Will he be able to get out? The pillar coming clutch. Oh, he is able to get around. He uses that W to heal a little bit, but there is no blast cone. Here comes the Veigar. He does get the stun with the WQ combo to get that kill. So there is that trade, although it's not really in the essential lanes. But yeah, 1-for-1 essentially. Oh, actually 1-for-2. No, 1-for-1. We got a kill on the Mordekaiser.
And that gives a bit of some AP stats to the Veigar, so he's going to love that. There's a bit of a fight bot lane, but I don't think anything's going to come of that.
I'm just going to jump back to this kill in the top lane for the Mordekaiser. Yeah, the Mordekaiser does get that return kill, so let's just jump back there. I think he does TP into the lane. I'm just going to try to bring you that action. Yeah, he does TP to a creep. The Sett looks like he's going to be able to take the fight. He uses his shield early on, which is a disadvantage. Mordekaiser does get the passive with the Q stack. He does get the pull-in from the Sett, but that Sett doesn't have the shield, and the passive just kind of takes him away. Yeah, back to real time. Yeah, there's a trade. So actually, Era kind of coming up with a 2-1 instead of the 1-for-1.
So what do you think that Ezreal's going to buy on this first back?
Let's see, what gold does he have? 1-8. He's going to buy a Tear and a Sheen. Oh, he's going for
Okay,
the
he
Sheen.
can't quite
Can't,
afford
yeah,
that.
he was close. He had probably,
Yeah.
I think, about it, maybe 50 or 100 gold to go for that. But yeah, he does rather go for the consumables rather than. I'm just trying to get us back to real time here. Okay, we're about 1 second behind on going on 6 minutes into the game. And we
A
do
bit of a
see
fight
a
around the
fight in the
scuttle.
jungle, yeah, by the scuttle. Hecarim's trying, he doesn't get the
Hecarim
smite.
secures it.
Oh, Hecarim did get it.
Yeah.
You're
There's a
correct.
baby cage coming down. Oh, fail flash.
Oh, fail flash into the stun. The WQ combo does come out. He does get the ulti though to set them back, and the ulti coming out from the Veigar just to kill the Orianna in that one shot. And again, like you were saying, the Veigar stacking those AP is already on plus 39 there. So
Thank you, ma'am.
yeah, the Glacial
I
Augment
mean,
coming out clutch.
well, I'll tell you what, it's just Veigar's raw power. I mean, it just goes to show you, this guy, I mean, he doesn't really need much. If he lands his full combo, there's not a lot of people that are going to survive that. That being said, it looks like he is going for... So he has the last chapter, so he's probably going for the Luden's Echo first. He's not going for that GLP.
A little bit of a trade in the top lane. He does land this Q, the obliterate.
Ooh, but Mordekaiser has his ulti and Sett doesn't, and I wonder if they're gonna fight because of
Bot
that.
lane. Oh, we're going back to the top lane. Sett does
Yes,
get the pull in, or ulti from the Mordekaiser. Can he get the passive out? He does. The Sett does have his ulti. He gets the pull back. The shield comes out with the obliterate. He is going to get the kill eventually.
Oh my goodness, that was,
it was so
close.
yeah.
No.
The Conqueror, I think, coming out and just that shield healing is just disgusting in the beginning.
Okay.
I'm surprised. Oh, the Sett used the ulti into the fight, so my mistake on that. I thought he still had his ulti there.
No, and that's why I was actually wondering if there would be a fight, because Morda had the ulti advantage. So I'm a bit surprised the Sett went in, but I mean, that was so freaking close. Well played by the Mordekaiser to pull that one out. I think he's getting a bit of an edge now. Only 150 gold ahead, so still a pretty even top lane.
Oh, this Veigar is onto
Maybe
55
switch to the gold.
AP. Yeah, now I am on the gold.
You can see the advantage in the mid lane there, starting to build up for the Veigar. He's got those 2 kills and he's got a CS advantage. It's not looking great in the mid lane, but you know, at least Orianna, it's not difficult for her to farm from afar, so I don't think she's in too much sort of immediate danger. Bot lane still fairly close. Blue team do have the advantage, but I mean, Ezreal sitting on, you know, all of that mana, he doesn't have that much damage, so probably still pretty even there. Looks like there's going to be a fight in the
top lane once again. Yeah, it's just kind of a trade. He does get the pullback and the obliterate on back. Twice he gets the obliterate, but that passive just kind of keeping Sett away. Sett does get that suck in that face breaker, and he just kind of yeah, I mean, it's just a normal trade, and then we just see
bruises trading each
bruises
other.
being bruises.
We see Trundle taking Rift Herald again, you know, red side prioritizing this Rift Herald, but what I like and the difference here is that they haven't rotated their bot lane up and sacrificed the bot lane for this. I think this is much better. This is worth, you know, this is a trade that I can accept.
Ulti stun comes down from the Veigar, but the Orianna didn't walk into it. She kind of dodged that, didn't take the full damage. But
she still has barrier as well, so she should be okay.
Oh, ulti coming up from the bot lane, but it didn't seem to do much. Just are we going in the top lane again? More fighting in the top lane. Yeah, it does get the obliterate coming down. Sett kind of just walks away from that. He's not too sure if the jungler is nearby with that pink ward in that bush over here. We're gonna have to wait and see, but yeah, he's just playing nervous. He does get the pullback. There's the jailbreaker coming out. Passive once again. He does get the obliterate. Yeah, I mean, it's just the continuous trading. It does look like they're going to go to Drake. I think this is more action.
Red team take Drake. Blue team don't even know this is happening, but I don't think they really care at this stage. So next is Ocean, so that means we can't get an Ocean Soul, which in my opinion is still the strongest soul out there, but it means we could potentially still have an Inferno Soul, which I think is also very, very strong.
Or a Mountain would be really...
Yeah, so obviously Mountain is there. I think both teams would prefer Infernal. But Mountain is not anything to be scoffed at either.
They do spot this Hecarim out coming for the gank. He does put his pink ward by himself.
And yeah, I think a little bit less action in this early game. Another plate goes down in the bot lane.
Yeah, just switch to that, so perfect timing.
So yeah, no, good pressure here from blue lane's bot lane. Hecarim's been covering them quite nicely as well. You can see their ward control over this bot side. They have, you know, a control ward in the red jungle's blue buff. They have a control ward in the river. They have a ward just on the other side there, close to the tri-bush, and you know, scouting out any wards here.
Does get some poke out. Oh, are we gonna get another fight in the top lane? Can we see it? Here comes the Trundle for the gank.
Okay, yes.
I won't be able. Oh, there gets the pullback. He does miss the obliterate. Trundle's coming in for the thingy, but I don't think he's gonna get it. We're going back to the bot lane. Oh, okay. He's trying to turn around. Bot lane's down. He misses the flash on that thing. We're trying to bring you both action. There's just so much going on.
No, focus on top lane.
There's a Rift Herald in the Rift Herald in the top lane.
This is too early.
It's gonna probably get most of it, yeah.
But you're not gonna take it down.
Oh, okay. Haymaker doesn't work.
Gank in the mid lane.
Yes, I see the Hecarim coming in. He's pinging it. He doesn't miss it. He's gonna get the. There we go. The stun coming out. Just looking at this bottom lane, we do see the Vayne is getting back on the CS. I think she's able to. Wait, we do have another fight in the top lane. Kind of just a trade. He does get the face breaker into it, into the ulti. Here comes the passive, the ulti into the Mordekaiser, which is actually quite bad because the Trundle was here to help. And he does get the flash down from the Sett. The obliterate does miss.
Oh, they got the fast horse.
He's gonna go. Ulti's onto the Mordekaiser. Does get the shutdown. Here comes the Sett once again. Oh, he misses the. The face breaker, I think it is, if I'm not mistaken. But here comes the Veigar once again, roaming to try to get that horse. He misses the slow though, and he misses the cage. He doesn't get the W. He gets the Q though. Yep, he's going in. The Orianna is a little far. The ball is back on it. The Sett does get the face breaker into it. Yeah.
Baby cage.
Stun again. Is this Trundle going to be able to help? He does land the Q and the W, but I think they're just going to walk out of this. Oh man, so much action. Here comes the TP into by the blue buff, by the Mordekaiser. He's waiting, but he's has the Orianna in the wings. I'm not sure if they show it, but they do get the pullback into the obliterate. But he does go for it. The passive. Oh, the shield coming out from Orianna. He does get the obliterate here. Orianna doesn't have any mana. Trundle's coming in. He does get this pillar, which is a great pillar, knocks it back, and the Orianna dies.
Oh, well
great turnaround from Millennium with that TP play and that pink clutch ward.
But also good patience there after the TP. I mean, he TP'd in and he didn't immediately run up. He waited. He knew the Hecarim was going to come towards his blue. Waited and then.
We haven't engaged in the bot lane. Sorry, just to interrupt that. They do kind of turn around. Vayne hits her into the wall, but they don't ulti, so the damage is quite significant. But I'm surprised the Vayne didn't ulti for that. Oh, it is down. My mistake. So she must have ultied earlier, but definitely a good turnaround on that engage from the Leona and the Ezreal. We do see the reset, so I think Ezreal is. It's going to be intriguing to see if the Ezreal goes for Iceborne Gauntlet, or if he's going to go more of like the attacking Triforce.
Mirror Mana.
He already has that.
Well, yeah, so he wouldn't go Mirror Mana and Iceborne Gauntlet.
Why not? That's the normal build.
No, I don't think he's going to go that. He's going to go Mana Muna into the Mirror Mana, and then with the Triforce. It's also because, I mean,
Oh, we have a fight in the top lane again. We do get the obliterate onto the passive, but he's just running away. Looks like an engage is coming. I'm watching the bot lane, but I'm also trying to keep
around Drake. Okay, I'll keep an eye on top lane.
He's pinging for the tower. I think they pinging for the tower there, but yeah, the Ezreal's trying to get the damage out. Here comes the Hecarim. Yeah, Veigar's just pushing in the mid lane. Okay, and
Mordekaiser's just zoning,
standing
off the top lane. Yeah, it's good wave control here. Oh, but he missed the CS. Looks like the blue team are going to move on to Drake.
Yes. It does look like
Trundle is moving down.
Mm-hmm.
He's going to get here too late.
Oh, are they going to engage there? We do have
Ooh,
a
there's
fight.
okay. Watch there. I'm watching top.
Ulti from the Ezreal. Hecarim does get onto the Veigar, but there's nothing
Top's
that's
fine.
really turning into that. Okay, top's good. So yeah,
Yeah.
just
Big
nothing.
trade top lane, but no ultis. Yeah. Ooh, Hecarim's
Invade.
hovering in the
Yeah.
jungle there.
Oh, goes for the stun, but he doesn't get it.
But
Veigar does
yeah,
pick
the
up the
Veigar
creep.
doing his role very nicely. I think he's had some really good baby cages. BillyBobBigBrain making it really difficult over here for us. Sure, testing my tongue twisting abilities here. But I think he's playing very well so far on this Veigar. Ooh,
Ooh,
bit
we
of a
get the
fight in the
obliterate
top
in.
lane.
Yes, just here. Passive coming out. Ulti from the Sett. Does pull him in. Is he
Ooh,
going to ulti him? He does ulti him. Is it going to be
yes.
too close to the tower? It is. He does go
Oh,
for
he
the
missed.
tower dive, but he misses the obliterate once again, and now he's running away.
Oh, bot lane.
Unfortunate. Oh, we in the bot lane. Ulti coming out from the Hecarim.
Yeah.
Dead Lulu. The Leona
Oh,
ulti doesn't even come out in time to get that kill.
dude, that Leona. That Lulu exploded. She didn't even get a chance to ulti herself.
Just close. Oh, Vayne is backing off, so it looks like Troepe might get Troepe.
Okay, another Rift Herald here for red side.
They do get the first turret in the bot lane. Now,
Oh, very nice. So that almost evens out the gold. We've got what 700 gold difference at the moment in
yeah,
favor of the red team. But they're going to take a turret top the Mordekaiser, so that pops it
of
back
course.
into red team's favor. It's about just over 1,000 gold lead, and they have that Rift Herald. I expect them to try and drop it mid.
Oh, the
Um,
Trundle is there. So,
yeah,
oh,
they just need a wave clear. Orianna has pretty good wave clear, so it'll be difficult. But I think they're going to drop this. Are they? I think they're just a bit hesitant because they don't know where the rest of blue team are because everyone resets. So it's probably a good idea to just walk away.
I see that Ezreal did go for the Iceborne Gauntlet in the end.
I'm very surprised. Okay,
I'm
okay,
supposed
cool.
to keep the
The
Trundle
mortar
off of
away?
him? Or the mortar?
I
I'm
didn't
just
think he
going down
needs
to
it.
the bot lane.
Okay, they're dropping the Rift Herald
Yes,
bot.
I see. I'm here, I'm watching. Yeah, they're gonna get this tower. Trundle even backs away, doesn't even need to stick around for that gold. I
I
suppose trying
think
to
he wants
feed it
Vayne
all
to
into
take
the
the
vein,
gold.
yeah. We do see the lane switch coming out. Ulti in the top.
Oof, yeah, this is tricky for the Vayne. I mean, she's sitting on one item, whereas Ezreal's sitting on two completed items. So yeah, she doesn't want to fight that Ezreal right now. We'll take a bit of a trade into the Sett, but nothing significant. The horse is chasing
Lulu,
down
yes.
the Lulu, but she
I'm
turns him
here
into not a
watermelon?
horse, I suppose.
Was it a water balloon? A little trade in the top lane, but the Ezreal just phase rushes out of that. It is the arcane shift.
Arcane
My
shift. Oh,
mistake.
fighting bot lane?
Oh, he's going ulti onto the vein. Oh, here comes the Hecarim, but no, they don't
Nah,
want to
he's
turn
gonna
that
back off.
around. It looks like they are
They
going to
might
get this
take this
tower.
turret. Oh, it's gonna be
Oh, they're going to
close.
try.
Oh, now
Oh,
they're going
she's
onto
turning
the
around.
Sett. The Sett's still alive.
Oh, the W, the flash out. She's on the wrong side, but she's going to get the... Oh, my word.
Yo,
That
that was
clutch.
so low.
Oh, the Hecarim is going. He's into a... I'm still trying to figure out what that is. But here comes the Hecarim onto the Lulu. Ulti, the flash out from the Lulu, but I don't think she's going
I
to be
think
able to
she's
escape
dead.
this.
Yeah.
Oh, he does miss the Q, the stun, the smite
Well,
does come out, and that's going to secure the kill. There it is.
yeah, he turned around, and I think it was a good call because otherwise he's going to run straight into the Ezreal. You don't want to feed that gold into the Ezreal. Yeah, Mordekaiser I think is definitely having a better time in the sort of reverse role compared to the Sett, but really well played there from the Sett to not die to the Vayne in that tower dive just now.
We do see the Mordekaiser in the top lane against the Hecarim.
No,
He's
the
just trying to take
Mordekaiser's going
that
to back off.
blue, but yeah, he just does back off. So yeah, so it's really interesting because I think in both games you've seen Era and Millennium kind of take the lead in the beginning, and then they kind of look for these plays that don't really kind of work out for them. Just I think from not really having the correct vision set up
Mm,
to make the plays
mm,
that they
mm,
want
mm.
to make, and that kind of starts to swing the favor into Troepe, and I'm not too sure if that might just be that they're trying to make to force the lead that they have. We both know that they have a late game team, so I'm not too sure if they should be trying to pick those fights. I mean, the Vayne, yes, he was trying to get that poke in the bot lane, but like I don't feel that it was necessary to try go for the tower dive under that and get the kill on the Sett. I feel like she's picking up farm. She's only 6 behind now. Ooh, that
Ooh,
Ezreal is hitting
look,
hard.
he's now starting to
Yeah.
do
Here
Ooh,
comes a
the
fight
fat
by the
horse.
the,
Oh, no,
the
he's turning around.
Infernal Drake. We do
Yeah, I
have
think
Sett in
both
the
teams
top
want
lane.
this.
He does have
Does he have
TP.
He
He
does have
does.
his TP, yeah.
So Trundle's coming out. He
This
does
is
miss
gonna be a big fight.
the cage missing from the Veigar, but they do get
TP
that
came
pick
through.
on the Orianna. TP coming
Oh,
through. They do get the kill on the. Ooh, there's so much happening. They do get the kill on the horse. The Trundle's still here. The Leona does go in. I think the Vayne is clutch. She's just dancing
good ulti
around.
from the
OT on the Sett. The Ezreal does get that kill.
Oh, well played.
Double kill. Just waits out the stun.
Can he
He's
catch
going
him?
forwards. He does get the Iceborne Gauntlet to do that slow, but damn, what a fight. Just gonna.
Oh.
So it was in the end, it was a 2-for-3 trade. But
Veigar's sticking around, but
ooh,
I
almost.
think if he does, I think he dies.
Ooh, he does get the stun on the Ezreal.
Yo!
Does get the almost kills him, but
my
he
goodness
does get the
gracious me.
turnaround.
Oh my goodness, Ezreal.
Wow. And again, like, is it necessary to stick around for that? Why try and force the meta once again? So I am just, while things reset, I'm going to go back to that fight and just kind of let us watch that again. So we're going to fast forward a little bit here. We do see like the poke coming up from the Ezreal. They do take quite a bit of damage from the Infernal in the beginning. But yeah, we're going to try catch. We do see the Orianna kind of go down right in the beginning here. The Veigar does miss the stun right in the beginning, but the shutdown so clutch in the beginning there on the Orianna. Leona's ulti does slow 4, and I think the Vayne, there's the Vayne in the back line, and she is doing damage. I feel like she does get stunned, but yeah, oh, so close on that Leona kill, and the Sett ulti just clutch in that matter, and the rest is kind of history.
Yeah, man, the Sett just showing how sort of tanky he is in that fight. I honestly, I was so surprised that he came out of that fight alive and that he survived for that long. And I did mention it in our, before the pick and ban phase even started. I sort of thought he might draw a ban. I was a bit surprised that he didn't. So yeah, are they going to punish? Are they going to be able to punish them for not banning it? I mean, it's still a really close game. The gold is almost dead even. There's like a 100 gold difference.
But where exactly are those advantages? We do see like 2,000 gold league. Oh,
top lane
poke.
big advantage. Ooh.
Yes.
Gee whiz, this Ezreal is just shifting forwards now.
Yeah.
He's not even scared anymore.
The mid lane has quite an advantage, and the bot lane, the Ezreal, advantage over that Vayne.
Yeah.
Leona's
Yeah, so the Ezreal sitting with the most gold in the game at the moment. I mean, he is 4 for 0. There's quite a nice little bounty on him there, 450 gold. So if I was red side, I'd be looking to try and get my hands on that money.
Do you see the Vayne kind of going for that Jinsu's, if I'm not mistaken? It does look very likely. And once again, like you said, the Death Dance coming out for the Ezreal.
Yeah. I think the Vayne might even go for that on a third item as well. It's just such a good all-round item at the moment.
I'm not too sure. It doesn't. I mean, it does add quite the tanky stats, but doesn't.
It's just those extra tanky stats to in those fights where you go down, where you definitely go down. It just helps you sometimes just walk away with 100 or 200.
Here comes a engage in the mid lane, but yeah, he does miss that pillar a little bit, so they do just walk away from that. But yeah, I think she might. I mean, with a heavy engaged team like Troepe at the moment, with the Sett OT and the Hecarim and the Leona and the Orianna, I mean, she might need those extra stats, but she might pick up a Phantom Dancer just to maybe keep herself alive there. We are just going to check. So the Veigar is on 205 stacks of his AP, just under 500 total AP on him.
And what items is he sitting on? So he's got the Frozen Hose. Oh, right, sorry, I stand correct. The Frozen Hose, he built that first from that last chapter. I thought he was going Ludens, which I was confused about, but he did get that Frozen Hose. He's got the Twin Shadows now, and now he's going for that Death Cap. Yeah, exactly what I expected to see. And by the time he finishes that Death Cap, yeah, he's going to be well on his way to an excess of 600 AP. Yeah.
Oh, they are sieging this middle lane.
Arcane
shift out of the the stun there.
Out of the cage,
Yeah. Clutch.
Very nice from the Ezreal.
Mordekaiser once again pushing out in the bot lane. I do like the response to the Sett here with the Vayne. I feel that the Sett can't really get onto this Vayne with the tumbles. She
And
does,
a knockback, yeah.
and she has picked up that Rage Blade, so I mean, those stacks on her Silver Bolt is gonna come through. We do have Drake up in 30 about seconds.
Yeah, about 30 seconds. Again, I think we're probably going to end up seeing a team fight around this. Both teams are hovering.
Top lane being pushed out. We do
Both
see
top
the
laners
Twin Shadows coming up by the Veigar.
Both top laners have their TPs as well, so yeah, I think we might see.
Here comes the Hecarim. Oh, he does turn around just in time. Just in time for that cage not to stun him. We do see the Leona coming on the backside.
Your backside.
I think they're going to go for this Drake. We do see the Mordekaiser coming down instead of TPing. I wonder if the fight, if it does. Okay, he's turning around. Yeah. We do see. Ooh, can Veigar get the stun? He doesn't. He gets the poke out though from the Ezreal. Here comes the TP from the Sett. Mordekaiser's
I don't
waiting.
think he needed to TP in.
I see they do start the Drake. Error Millennium. Here comes the TP from the Mordekaiser in the bot side.
Yeah.
Trundle is going in. Sett does ult him out, so he can't get that smite. Here comes the. Oh, the Hecarim does miss the stun again. Once again, Mordekaiser's onto the Ezreal. He
the Orianna ulti misses
almost. Oh, the Vayne is destroying that Orianna. Now working through the Leona, and she does get the Orianna, and the team does. The fight does go, and the Veigar actually stays alive.
Yeah,
through
he
all of that.
The Orianna ulti. I don't know if you're gonna have a
I'm gonna have to go back, yeah, because this fight was split up into two, so we're gonna have to go back. I wonder if they're gonna. It looks like they're gonna turn to Dre. Baron.
Well, yeah. So go back. I'll let you know if you need to come back in. I think they're just gonna.
Okay, let's see this fight once again. So we're going back to the Drake. We do see them start it up. The poke comes out from the Veigar. We do see it started up. Hecarim's looking for that engage. Now they decide to start that Drake. And then a lot of action kind of comes through. We do see the Trundle kind of coming for the steal here, but the Sett just ultis in a way to kind of keep that. The Leona ulti onto the Veigar, so they do get that. Then the Hecarim turns onto the Veigar, where the Mordekaiser comes from the backside and ultis that. We're looking at the backside ulti from the Lulu to keep the Veigar alive, and then that's when we see the Vayne kind of clean up, and then the Veigar decides to turn. We already saw the bottom side turn on, get great stun, and once again the WQR ulti coming out from the Veigar to kill that Hecarim. And like we said,
we're sitting in a pause anyway, so there's no rush to come out.
Oh.
But yeah, all we saw was the Baron go down. I mean, uncontested, the whole of blue team was basically dead anyway, so it's sort of what we expected. It looks like the Ezreal DC'd, so we're just waiting for him to rejoin. But yeah, that was a big team fight there from Red, and the fact that they managed to turn it into a Baron is huge. It's given them quite a big gold advantage now. It's it's sitting in about almost 5,000 gold now. But we do have to keep in mind that was a third Drake for blue team for Troepe. So nothing to be scoffed at. We do the red team do need to be conscious of the fact that Inferno Soul is just sort of around the corner.
Once again, an Inferno Soul coming out, and that's I feel like gonna be very clutch for the Ezreal poke. It's just gonna add that extra damage onto every Q.
He's gonna be so obnoxious.
But yeah, I just wanna see with regards to while we in this pause, we can look at items. We do have a. What is that? Hextech Gunblade coming out maybe from the Mordekaiser? Do you think?
Yeah, but yes, but it could be the Proto Belt as well for a bit more sort of mobility.
Engage, yeah.
But I'm surprised by the Nash's Tooth.
Yeah, I'm also I suppose to proc that ulti, not the ulti, the passive a little bit more. I mean, the more auto attacks he kind of gets down, the sooner that passive does come out.
Yeah, but that's I don't know. Look.
It's working so far.
he can definitely prove us wrong.
What else? Significant. There's no completion on that Rabadon's just yet. I think it might be coming out soon. I can switch. Yeah, so it looks like he is going to complete that once the pause does end.
Oh, I tell you what,
Sitting
this
on 2.5.
difference in the mid lane is really starting to get a bit out of hand.
Yeah, it's almost what 3
It's
completed
almost
items
4,000
to the
gold.
2.
Yeah, 3,600 gold item difference. Yeah, and where is the? Can we see the Veigar? I don't. Do you have
No,
sight of the Veigar?
I can't move.
Oh, I can.
I think he's in the base, if I'm not mistaken.
It looks like he's sitting on 621 AP before the Rabadon death cap comes through. So he's going to be just under 800 AP by the time he finishes this next buy. And yeah, this is what I was saying is, red team want to go late, and blue team need to try and finish this as early as possible. If things keep going like this, it looks like Ezreal's reconnected, so we'll get into game soon. But yeah, I really think the game is in favor of red team right now. Just not just because they have the Baron, puts it in their favor, but I think just the fact that it looks like it's going to go
game.
later and later,
Yeah.
it's just getting more and more in favor. But that being said, I mean, this Ezreal, we've seen the power of this Ezreal.
True, and I mean, yeah, he does have that third item completed, but I do think that Vayne, okay, she's not going to be able to complete it yet, but I can't type. So I suppose as soon as the action comes back, but I was correct, and it does look like she is going to go for that Phantom Dancer into the third item, just to add that spell shield, I think, for the hard engage. I think she does have the tumble to kind of get out the Orianna ultis. I see her flash is down at the moment, and here comes the unpause. So yeah, we're gonna see kind of all of those things come back into action. See what completions. Yeah, there's the Rabadons, and yeah,
Oh my
869, 925.
Yo, because he had enough gold for another blasting one on top of that as well. Yeah, so this is where I think a little bit of the greed comes through. I think we saw this yesterday. We can see it. So you've got Ezreal still sitting on a Doran's blade. You've got Sett still sitting on a Doran's shield. You've got Veigar still sitting on a Doran's ring. I'd really like to see them sell those and pick up some pink wards.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah,
Vision at this point in the game is just almost invaluable. And the stats that you're getting from those Doran's items, I don't think is worth the benefit that that extra vision gives you.
We do see maybe a fight, but yeah, like you see, the Lulu is putting those wards. We do have that blue ward in the Dragon Pit just sitting there. About 3 minutes. Oh, the poke coming out from the Ezreal onto that Lulu. Oh, even the Orianna is hitting hard now as well.
Quite hard.
But I do see we have the engage. And what do you think about this split push? Ooh, sorry if I interrupt you if we go into a team fight. The cage does come out. Oh my word. Oh, here comes the Hecarim. He does go into the Trundle, but it doesn't really work. Yeah, okay, they're backing off. It does look like he's moving down. To the Mordekaiser, but that healing. Oh, he's going into the bush. Yeah. Nope, he runs away. Okay, so we are, just coming back in. What? Oh, he's taking jungle. Oh, he smites out the Grump, or the Krugs. And, just runs away.
Top turret. And this is well played. I think they're using this quite nicely.
I was going to say, what do you want to see with regards to the sieging? I think this one kind of 1-3-1, maybe a 1-3-1 works for them?
Yeah.
Pulling them around the map. Yeah.
I'd say that much because the only real siege capability they have is a Vayne whose range.
Oh, Mordekaiser playing the guitar by the sieged minion, just being a troll there.
You have to love esports. Here comes the Ezreal to try and deal with the Mordekaiser now.
Yeah, I think that's a good call because the Sett didn't really have an answer to that.
See a bit of a push in the mid lane.
Minion, yeah.
Well,
see the cage does come down.
The jungle, yeah.
Here comes the Hecarim. He does get in. And he just backs away when he gets turned into a water balloon. I want to claim it's a water balloon. If you guys can see what animal it is or whatever it is, let me know. A bit whimsical. Drake coming up in
down into bot lane
50 seconds.
I
Yes,
think
here comes the fight, yeah. Gets
a
face breaker, but he just runs away. He is a very tanky Mordekaiser, I won't lie on that.
Yeah, how long until? So we have 40 seconds until Drake. Yeah,
Yes.
I think red team just wants to reset.
Yeah, I see Vayne picks up the Phantom Dancer, which is
Yeah,
great.
if I was
And
blue
there's
team, I would quickly try and go in and get some vision control here after Drake. I mean, it's only a
oh,
Lulu.
there's a ward. What's going to be very interesting to see is the QSS on the Ezreal for that Mordekaiser ulti. So as soon as Mordekaiser kind of, well, I don't know if they've noticed it, but as soon as the Mordekaiser kind of ultis that Ezreal, then it looks like he's just going to QSS out of that to kind of
Can you
deal the
QSS
damage.
the Mordekaiser?
You can, unfortunately. Ooh, poke coming out onto the Trundle and onto the Vayne. Here comes the Hecarim. Cage does go down, but no damage.
Good
Trundle's
Cage.
about to die, but he does ulti the Hecarim, and the Hecarim does back off. So this looks like it is going to be an Infernal Drake for the
Orianna wants to ulti. I'm sure she wants to.
for Era Millennium. Oh, he's sticking around. Ulti miss. Well, he hits the Mordekaiser, but nothing much. And yeah, Era Millennium do pick up that dragon.
Oh, good, yeah. Good control there from them. Yeah, great that they deny that.
Veigar must be close to
1,000.
I'm pretty sure. 966.
Oh my
So
goodness.
it's
Well, I mean, he
definitely
has
coming out.
Yeah, he still wants to upgrade. He's probably going to go for a Lich Bane next.
A Lich
Yeah,
Bane?
I think once he buys that, yeah, I think he's going to go for a Lich Bane.
I would be very. I think he's. Honestly, I think he might rather go for the Void Staff on those items. Do you see the
Sorry.
Mordekaiser?
Yes. Void Staff. What am I saying? Yes. No, yeah, there's no way he's going for a Lich Bane.
Yeah, that's
The horse wants to dive in again.
Yeah, see, he's coming up, but he's just gonna be. Oh, he does go onto the onto the Lulu, but yeah, the Vayne just hits him away and tells him to stay away from my support. Vayne just.
So I mean, this is the story of this game.
Here comes the slow. Ooh, Vayne's going in. She does ulti. She's going onto the Leona. Does get stunned. He's going onto the Hecarim. Ulti from the Ezreal. Here comes the Mordekaiser. There's the QSS. The Vayne is chasing that. The flash forward does almost get the. Oh, he gets him at the end. The Orianna board doesn't. She's going onto the Orianna. That is crazy damage. Lulu coming out with the clutch ulti. She just keeps going. The Haymaker comes out to kill the Lulu. It's actually the Orianna ulti coming, but. Looks like Era Millennium is gonna end this game, yeah, which takes us to a game 3. Wait, oh, there's some poke from Orianna, but I don't think she's going to be able to. There's the Mordekaiser playing the guitar once again. Oh, gets the pullback, but there's the end of the game. Okay, so we're gonna see this last fight. Oh, once more. Oh, I don't think I can, unfortunately. Oh wait, here we go. So I got there just before that victory thing comes in. So yeah, so we do see the push coming out from the Ezreal. Unfortunately, we don't have any sound because I think the game is over. So Ezreal's kind of just poking. We do hear the gold sound, but no in-game sound. Yeah, the stun comes out, but nothing really happens. Here comes the horse, and then he does get the knockback. So we do see that we are a little behind on this fight, but yeah, the Veigar just clearing out the wave, and it looks like they're trying to force the play. There's 2 men in the bot lane, and then the slow comes out from the Veigar, and then the Vayne just commits. She goes hard forward, the flash into the stun, and then they just destroy the Hecarim. Mordekaiser does ulti the Ezreal, but he does QSS out of that, and then the Vayne just goes ham and flashes forwards onto the Ezreal, gets that kill before the Orianna ball comes out. Then the Orianna has to flash away, the face breaker comes out from the Sett, ulti out, but this Vayne is just too fed with the healing from the Blade of the Ruin King, and that Rage Blade just adding up those silver stacks is just over. The Vayne coming clutch in the end, and yeah, like we said, we okay, I'm just gonna fast forward to the end of this game, but yeah, I mean, we did mention them saying that if they just waited for the late game, that they essentially would have it.
Yeah, I'll be right back. I just need a toilet break. That got me so excited I almost peed my pants.
So yeah, I'm just gonna kind of go through the items in terms of the games. I think we are just waiting for them. It does look like they are creating a custom game once again. I will wait for that invite. I don't think. Yeah, we do have another game. The other games continuing, but yeah, an awesome second game. Great game from both teams. I think Area Millennium definitely listening to our advice and kind of coming through and making sure that they waited for the late game, didn't force those fights and kind of try and make the plays essentially. Um, sorry, while we just set up, but yeah, I think they kind of came together and saw that when they kind of force those fights, then that's when the mistakes kind of happen, especially when they don't have the vision into the enemy territory. Definitely came down at towards the end when they had that dragon play. They made sure that they got the relevant vision. And then, yeah, kind of just waiting out. Like we said, the Veigar is always going to scale. Vayne in the late game is disgusting, as you saw towards that end game. Kind of taking on 4 members, flashing forwards to get the kills even, where we saw, like, in the beginning of the fight, the Ezreal was kind of phase shifting forwards. I'm not sure if that's the right word, but like eeing forwards to do the poke and kind of get ahead. But yeah, definitely saw a shift in the play. Oh my word. I have to flip a coin to determine this arcane shift. Thank you very much, SubSaharanNick. That's I got it right. I do have to do a coin toss for this third game. I'm not too sure exactly. As far as I know, it has to be done on the website. So I'm just checking with regards to that. We are in the premier game. Yeah, definitely a Google coin flip. Okay, there we go. Thank you very much. Thank you guys. This is my first time on the Discord. Okay, wait, who wants heads? Thank you guys. I've never had to do this before. First time doing a coin flip. Us. Okay, so Troepe wants heads. Okay, we are. Okay, let me just make this official. So before everyone, so that everyone can see, whoever's watching, here we are, coin flip on Google. As you can see, I'm going to flip again to make sure. So here we go. As you see, click, we go for the flip, and it is a tails. So tails does win the coin toss. So we do have Era Millennium winning that. I wonder if they are going to go red side once again, or if they are going to take, yeah, they are actually going to take red side once again. So we do have Troepe coming in on the blue side, and again, thank you so much for the help on the chat. I really appreciate it. Yeah, I'm really interested, but before we jump into that, I'm just going to hand it over to Chicken Boy, kind of maybe discuss what happened in the last fight and what kind of took Era Millennium to their victory and how they kind of eventually turned that crazy beginning game of the Ezreal around into the late game Vayne. I will be back in about 5 minutes or so. I also need a bathroom break.
Before you go, can you just get me into the next game?
Oh, yes. I couldn't send the invite because you weren't here. So there, I have invited you.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, so I will be back in 5.
Sure, I don't know how old you are if you need 5 minutes to pee. No offense to old people. Yeah, no, so, I mean, the big thing for me, I think, is just, the fact that Era Millennium on the red side met the conditions that they needed to win the game, and it was basically just survive the early game. I think they did better than just survive, actually. They played quite nicely, and just wait for the late game. I mean, I was looking at the end there. at Veigar stats, and you're sitting on 1,014 AP by the time the game ended, and obviously he wasn't even maxed itemed yet. So just, again, just to emphasize the fact that the later it goes, if you're playing against it, you just you cannot afford to let that Veigar scale like that. And then on top of that, yes, there was the Vayne as well, who was struggling in the early game. And I suppose it makes sense. I mean, she doesn't have the range or the sort of spells to spam that the Ezreal does. But again, I think just very well played by Era Millennium, understanding their comp, understanding the conditions to win that game. No sort of crazy calls either around objectives, I think. I mean, we had some team fights, but yeah, just very well controlled. I still, but this is a personal gripe, I suppose, that I have around, specifically solo laners and those not wanting to sell stuff like the Doran's rings and getting those extra pink wards in for their team. I really think in the late game, but I mean that's a small thing. So yeah, I'm excited to get into this next game and to see the priority on the champions of the picks and the bans. I mean, we've seen both teams have players that are very capable on the Mordekaiser. So I wonder, if either team is going to let that Mordekaiser through. If I was blue team, I probably wouldn't ban it. Try and force the red team to ban it, and then if they didn't ban it, pick it up. But yeah, because I don't know if there's going to be that much priority on the Ezreal again. I think the Ezreal was still very good. I think maybe what punished them was the lack of a real late game there. I don't know if the Hecarim for me wasn't the best pick. But then again, I mean, he did quite well. I think their whole comp was just so well countered by that Veigar. And it looks like everyone's ready.
I am back. You see the Lulu clutch once again. I don't know if you mentioned it, but both teams.
Lulu? There was no Lulu in that game, bro. There was a Veigar and a Mordekaiser and a Vayne. That's it. There was no jungler. There was no
Did
support.
you see the Lulu on that Vayne? I mean, if the Lulu wasn't there, would we even have a game?
I would say you were a support main where you go on like this. Okay, so the Yuumi ban first up, I think that makes sense. Senna, okay.
Once
okay.
again.
They maybe know something that we don't know. I would have rather banned the Aphelios than the Senna. But there's the Aphelios. Anyway, so now the question is Wukong, Mordekaiser. Okay, Mordekaiser.
Wukong
so
on
they
this
don't
one?
want.
Do you think? Or the
It's
Sett?
Wukong or Ez. No, I think it's Wukong or Ez.
Or the Vayne. I mean, that Vayne was pretty clutch. The Volley Bear.
Who do you prior? I think I prior the Wukong. Yeah, I think I agree with this.
How do you answer that? Because the Mordekaiser's ban, I suppose the Hecarim, like you said, is a counter.
Yeah, I haven't personally seen it play out that well, but I think it's more in the Chinese league, the LPL, where they've done that. So I think it's something that you do still need to practice. I think I would go with the tank. You could still go with something like a Ornn, a Malphite. But yeah, I think picking up the Ezreal is a good idea as well. Take that away from Troepe. Who was that? I think it was SuchFreeMuchWow on the Ezreal in that last game. Goodness gracious, some of these names. But yeah, I think I mean, we could see a support pick here as well.
No, there's the
Thresh. Okay, yes, I quite like this.
Flay for the Wukong as well, or the box as well, which is a great slow to kind of stop him from maybe getting to those backsides, or the backside of the team. Before all you people in the chat give me weird.
Yeah. So I think we need to see a support pick, otherwise that's going to get heavily banned. Draw some bans. So I want to see a support. But I don't. It depends on what ADC they want to go for.
The Galio in
so the Wombo combo, not bad. It could be a Galio support. This is something that is
Yeah,
viable.
I mean, we have seen it in the past. Oh, there's the Lulu. I
But
told
there's
you.
a Lulu.
The Lulu clutch,
Yes.
baby. MVP on the Lulu.
Yeah, I think that's a fair point. I think Lulu's had quite a good game. Sure, so that means that we're probably going to see some ADC bans come through. So last pick here, I mean, I think you can pick, I don't know how well the Sett does into the Wukong. I think you can pick something like the Ornn into the Wukong.
Yeah, once again, I mean, there wasn't.
Oh, Corki. Okay.
Okay. Surprise
So
pick
yeah,
out there.
Corki in the mid lane. Yeah, I'm just
Oh, we need to
surprised by the
change.
priority that it's given.
We're in a game 3 over here.
Yes.
For everyone that is watching. Yeah, I mean, if you are joining us now, we are watching Troepe versus Era Millennium. Game 3 coming out. It is a 1-1. That's why we are seeing that game 3. And yeah, just kind of going through the picks and bans. We do see the Kaiser there. And I suppose that is a good focus for the ADC.
Yeah, double ban ADCs this round. If that's what I would do if I was on the red side, if I was Millennium.
Who do you think is? I mean, we saw the Orianna in the last play, but I mean, she was shut down pretty hard. It really.
Yeah, don't. Not that it's a wasted ban, but I wouldn't put too much focus on banning that. I might actually rather ban something like the Annie than
For the support. Well, I mean, they have their support.
No, for the mid lane.
Oh,
I would rather ban an Annie mid lane.
Yeah, we did see that Annie come out in the first game. There's the Vayne.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I think this is
like
good.
you
This
said.
really limits them. So what I don't know if it's going to work in this comp, but what I'm surprised to see, we haven't seen it get any priority, but the Varus. I know that internationally, the Varus is seen as probably the strongest ADC out there right now.
The jungle?
Yeah, the Varus lethality build. I think it can work with the Lulu. The Lulu can keep him safe, allow him to poke. The Lulu also has a bit of poke. So yeah,
and the speed
curious
up
to see if that comes through.
Get away.
Yeah.
The slow to keep him safe. The ulti
I think I'm expecting a top lane pick now.
Yes, I agree with that, and leave the mid lane for the last pick.
No, mid lane is Corki.
Oh, Corki, sorry, yeah.
Okay, Sejuani.
In the jungle.
That's actually not a bad idea. I mean, you could potentially use the Sejuani ulti to ulti the Wukong when he ultis to keep him in place, so that he can't get onto the backline. Yeah. It's also a great source of engage. And Sejuani is just a really good, lane ganker.
Yeah. And I'm guessing, who are we going to see here? ADC, yeah. Sivir.
Okay.
Yeah, for the speed up, the engage definitely does help with the Wukong. Shen again, Shen on the Wukong. If he goes invisible, then the Shen ulti on the Wukong comes through, kind of maybe, or hopefully this is what I'm predicting, taunt into the Galio ulti with then the follow-up on the knockup, and then the Wukong ulti on top of all of that with the Lulu ulti is just gonna be chaos.
But this looks like a Wukong jungle.
Possibly.
Because... Oh, Kled! Oh, I hate this champion. Oh my god.
Okay, wait. I suppose we still have quite a bit.
We still have some time, yeah.
For everyone who's watching that is not playing, who do you think is going to win this one? I know there are quite a few Era Millennium supporters out there. So, yeah, let me know who you think, and in terms of team fight, but predictions. Give me your predictions. I want to know what you guys think. But you were gonna say with the Kled?
Oh, okay. Well, we'll get back to that. So, yeah, this is a Wukong in the jungle, and I suppose that makes sense. So Kled is gonna go up against Shen. So I don't know. I've never played that matchup. I don't know if you have. But I mean, Kled with that dismount. Oh my god! I just and what's
so
that?
Obnoxious.
What's the name of that thing that he rides? Scarl.
Yes.
He's just such an obnoxious champion to deal with. I mean, his ability to drop tower aggro with that passive of his as well. Also, becomes invulnerable. So if you play it really well, you can potentially dodge something fatal. It's just such an obnoxious champion. His ulti, Yeah, I don't know if it really suits their team. The only person that really wants to run into the other team's face is the Sejuani. I mean, Corki and Ezreal want to stand as far back as possible and literally just poke. The Thresh maybe also wants to, I suppose, run in and try and hook someone. But yeah, I'm a little bit surprised by this Kled. It might be a bit of a pocket pick over here as well. I wonder, if it was supposed to be in response to if it's in response to something specific. I don't know if it's in specific response to this Shen. Like I say, I've never played that matchup.
Yeah, I'm also not too sure about that matchup. I think, yeah, I'm not too sure because I know like Shen's damage output is pretty high.
It's pretty insane. Consider, he's sort of like the Ornn in that perspective, where you see him as a tank,
Yeah.
and innately he is a tank, but this obscene amount of damage just comes out of him. When you fight him, and he's probably going to go for something like the grasp, or the conqueror, meaning that he's going to have that sustain.
And yeah, I think he's gonna probably rush Tectonic Hydra. I would think so. Maybe a Sunfire Cape against the Claire is a possibility, but I think he normally does struggle quite a bit with the creeps and trying to get that lane pushed out, and it's not the easiest to farm under tower. So I think he might rush that, but it's definitely going to be an interesting dynamic to watch. In terms of the bot lane, yeah, I think it's going to be quite a bit of poke. I think if the Thresh engages on the Lulu, it might be some kill potential. But yeah, it's going to be interesting to try and see what happens and what kind of unfolds.
Yeah, I wonder sort of how confident SuchFreeMuchWow, the ADC on blue side, how much confidence he has on the Sivir, and if he'll actually try to body block the Thresh hook with the spell shield. If he'll take that chance.
Yeah, man, it's a tricky one because like I know playing as an ADC, you don't like, well, most of the time you just want to kind of look after yourself and not to throw your support under the bus, but
No,
it's kind of just like you're not going to put yourself in harm's way to
all you
like
care about is yourself.
no,
So
what
rude.
I'm alluding to is saying that like you essentially want to dodge it, and if both parties are thinking about dodging it, it's not like she's going to run into the hook intentionally unless it's like they're really close and they see that it is going to potentially get that kill or land the hook onto the Lulu. But I don't see, unless it's definitely going to land on her, I don't see that she's going to take it for the support, unfortunately.
Yeah, so I just noticed there's basically no AP on the side of Era Millennium, on the red side.
Yeah, you're correct. So Shen can just go full tank, I suppose.
Well, Shen and Galio both could just go full tank.
And Wukong with the damage. And
Okay,
Sivir.
we have a restart.
Oh,
Okay, we
I'm
have
not even in there. Wait,
we have a
you're running
request for a restart. I'm not sure why.
Oh no.
The game is paused.
They're gonna break my law. Oh wait, here I come. Oh, okay, wait. I'm in. I didn't see a pause. Just here's the pause. Don't worry, guys. We got to pause it. I think it's just from that disconnect.
Okay, yeah. No, I don't think we'll. Okay, yeah. Maybe I'd read restart as in quit and start again.
Oh, here comes the unpause. Let me just get all those things
Great.
up for you.
No, so something that I just wanted to say as well is I think the Corki pick into the Galio, we didn't speak about that. I think that's quite clever. I actually played a lot of Galio mid lane last season. He hasn't really changed much. But what Galio has on his W is a passive sort of spell shield of sorts, but it blocks, magic damage. And I think that could be, so why I think the Corki pick into the Galio is quite nice is because although Corki does have some AP, he obviously has a lot of AD as well. So whereas the Galio is quite a good pick into your conventional AP mid laners, he's not the greatest pick into something like, or something with some AD damage. Plus the fact that, you know, the Corki is ranged, whereas the Galio is melee, so the Corki is definitely going to be able to punish him. And the Corki can, you know, it's quite a safe lane for him because, you know, mid lane isn't the longest lane. So, you know, Valkyrie is usually enough, although it doesn't take you very far. It's usually enough of a distance creator to get you out of any sort of tricky situation. So I think that was also quite a nice pick there. In the mid lane. I'm just really curious to see how this Kled Shen matchup is going to play out.
We do have a ward on the blue buff, so Era Millennium is aware that they are starting on that blue buff and will most likely track where the Wukong is going and essentially where he's going to end up.
So I mean, they know that this means that you know, that Wukong will be at the bottom side of his map for his level 3, and that Sejuani will be top side of the map after she gets level 3 and red buff. So depending on how Shen plays this and how the Kled, I expect the Kled to push this in to try and get it to push back, because if you can push it in and get that wave to bounce back, you can force the Shen out. By the time, you know, the Sejuani's gotten her red buff and comes for that top gank, and you can at the very least force a flash out of that Shen. So I want to keep an eye on that, but looks like something might be happening in
great trades in the top lane. We do see the flay onto the Sivir. Shield, a hook.
It's a big hook.
Ignite coming out with the heal already. Exhaust. Yeah. Oh, the flash.
Oh my goodness!
Oh, she gets him. Oh, the Ezreal gets him, sorry. But what a great Q right at the end. We go back to the top lane. Shen does come out on the taunt, but does get that Kled off his skull. He is going for the kill. He's fighting it. He's gonna mount. Yep. And then he does have that dash. So we just are going to see what's gonna happen from this. I don't know if he's gonna go for a dash into the E. The Shen can just taunt away, I suppose. But I don't think anything's gonna come from that.
Great play in the bot lane.
Yeah. And yeah, I mean, they didn't really have any vision in that bush, and it's a typical Thresh play where you essentially just walk up, and instead of trying to land the hook, you flay first, and then it kind of guarantees you the hook. And yeah, most likely Sivir isn't leveling up that spell shield first. Ooh, are we gonna see the tower dive from the Shen? Oh, here comes the tower dive from the top lane. Yeah, here we go. He does go in. He is gonna go. He does stop taking tower air, but he does gonna die. He does attack it, and in the bot lane we do see the Wukong coming in. He is going to flash onto the lantern. He does get out. The flay comes out for the Q. What a great play by the support.
Oh my god!
Sacrificing his flash for the lantern. Yeah,
was flipping awesome.
Almost a mistake by the Ezreal flashing away from the lantern, but he does manage to click it and kind of get away from that. So great outplay on that.
To ChallengerSloth. You can see he's played a lot of this.
Going back into the mid lane. Here he comes into the. Oh, will he be able? No, he won't be able to get away. Flash out. Double flash commit there. Feels bad.
You know what? They secured the kill. They got the flash and the barrier out of the Corki. I think it's still definitely a favorable trade, but yes, a little bit greedy there from the Galio. But yeah, I mean, Galio has such great CC, and this is why I played him for such a long time myself as well. Is if you can get some jungle attention, you have so much setup here. You know, you have the stun, you have the taunt. And his W actually has quite a lot of damage. I mean, most of your mid laners, in fact, all your mid laners are pretty squishy. So most people get surprised, in my experience, by the amount of damage that a Galio can actually put out. So yeah, this is, I still think the Corki should have a pretty okay time in general. But yeah, if he gets, babysat, I suppose, by the Wukong, he's not going to have a fun game.
Oh, here comes a... Oh, leg spike. We got a leg spike, everybody. Yo, it's a bad one. Okay.
There's a bit of a fight in the top there.
Yeah, that's what I was alluding to. He does jousting go. The taunt comes out. Oh, damage from the Shen. And yeah, dismount, like as you mentioned, coming out from that.
Ahead.
Yeah, ahead.
So there's also, I think you can leave up. There's
Drake.
Just taking Drake.
Yeah.
That'll be uncontested. Go back to the top lane. I think the Scar will be okay.
Okay, I am fast forwarding. he's gonna get that mount. He does get it. Oh, okay. I am back to real time. There was a little bit of a lag spike. Oh, he does go in with the joust once again. Does turn him around, but I think he is scared to engage on the Shen. He's going for the fight. He does get the thing. Will he get the taunt? He does get the taunt, but he does get the shoot back. I'm not too sure what that skill is called. Pocket pistol away. And then, yeah. Oh, we do see the retrade. Is he going to be able to get the mount in time? No, he's dead. Here comes the Siege. Oh, he could have gone for the gank, but I think she just...
I tell you what, that was not a good idea from the Kled, just simply on the basis that he was a level down. I think people underestimate, the difference that being a level up or down makes, especially in the early game. I mean, just the base stats that you get on a champion from leveling up is quite a lot. It's probably about 300 or so gold worth of items is a way that you can think about it. So the Kled being a level down on the Shen there, even though they were pretty similar there on sort of health at the beginning of the fight, I think the Shen stats were always going to be favorable. I think it was not the greatest engage from the Kled, but we'll see hopefully it doesn't tilt him. Looks like there's going to be a gank in the mid lane.
Oh, got a lag spike. He does get the EQ. And he just runs away from that.
So, yeah, he's just gonna...
Yeah, I think it was... I think the Galio was just...
Kled is going on a bit of a roam.
I am watching. Let's see.
I don't think this is going to come to anything, to be honest.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to turn into anything. Kled is... he is back up on CS. He was behind. But now I'm getting great lag spikes now.
No, so the gold is almost dead even. So Ezreal's ahead by about 300-400 gold. And then top lane we have the Shen ahead by also about 300 or 400 gold. So it evens out. It's pretty even at the moment. But yeah, it looks like
here comes a gank in the top lane.
On the top lane, Wukong does have his ulti.
He is going back, yeah, and he does use that joust to
Kled doesn't have his TP for about another about 10 seconds, but I don't think there's enough time. No,
I mean, he's
not
flash.
Enough time. He's flash, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think they wanted to gank him before his flash came back. He's
going in.
He still doesn't have his flash.
EQ, jousting onto the Wukong. OT coming out. He does dismount on that. The reactivate from the Wukong coming out. Here comes the Thresh for the save. He does almost save the Galio. OT and the Shen OT coming out for the clutch. Taunt coming out onto the Thresh, and that is a dead Thresh. Oh.
How many times have you died trying to save someone else? Feels bad,
so
but it is.
Close.
I mean, as a support, it is your job. You want to save your teammate, and I mean, it almost came through clutch. It's almost a great save.
But we do see a response from that play with the Thresh roaming. I mean, the push in the unfortunately they lost the kill and they're getting the tower plate, so they do take the Rift Herald in the Q smite. So close. She did have the smite up, but I don't think she had the Q. I'm not too sure. She's trying to trade. She does go for the Wukong. Does land the flay. I think it. Does OT. He's going for it. Here comes the Kled. All the way flash down from the Wukong to get under the tower, but that Kled ulti kind of coming out and not really landing, unfortunately.
Well, I mean, trade ulti for flash worth any day of the week.
No, true. I mean, the flash down definitely helps, and he is just going to pick up all this farm in the top lane.
But that, just to say quickly as well, those plates that the Sivir managed to pick up there during that push has definitely brought her sort of back almost even with the Ezreal. There's still a slight advantage to the Ezreal, but it's not as big as it was.
See Corki coming down here with a package, yeah. Ooh. He is looking for it. He has the Wukong in the response. He does W under the tower, but he doesn't really knock them back. TP coming down onto the Galio. He does flash.
He's not going to taunt
the
anyone.
EQ. Great lantern once again in the flash. OT from the Ezreal to almost kill the Wukong, but there's the reactivate for the OT just to dissuade them. Here comes the Sejuani. She doesn't have an OT, but just a
covering.
TP play from the Galio and nothing much actually kind of happening. We do jump to the top lane, nothing really happening there. And we just see some wards being cleared out. I wonder if they're gonna go for a tower dive or really take this Drake. I think they're gonna go for this Infernal Drake.
I would go for the Drake. Don't risk the tower dive. Galio is still in the area. If he locks you up under turret, you're probably gonna die.
Galio wards the Drake.
Objective.
Oh.
I don't know if you saw the early smite there.
Yeah, I did see it.
It was on 37 health.
So yeah,
so could have been stolen.
The Galio wings just kind of coming in too slow for that steal. And we
All
just
okay
see
at the end of the day.
Switch. Cork in the bot lane. Going against Lulu and Sivir, and then Ezreal and Thresh in the mid lane, kind of switching that out a little.
So I see we've managed to get up to 1,000 gold lead, almost, for
Troepe.
blue team.
Yeah. Here comes the
Coming
Wukong.
mostly. Okay, there's a fight in the top lane.
There's a fight in the bot lane, fight in the top lane. Okay.
I'll rush top.
Kled is trying to get that. Shen is dispatching.
Oh my god.
Okay, Corky goes back. The flash misses the pocket pistol, and then double flash coming out, and still no remount from that. But both of them are relatively low. Here comes Sejuani though. She does have her ulti and the Q, so is she gonna be able to QR? Is she gonna go for it? No, there goes the ulti, waits for the taunt, and great patience coming up from the Sejuani, kind of waiting for that taunt to come down. They do take the turret in the bot lane. But
first turret drops in the bot lane, so nice little gold injection there as well. The Corki did quite a good job of staying alive. You missed that, but there's nothing sort of of significance there, just the Corki doing a good job.
Yeah, there's awesome patience coming up from the Sejuani, knowing that the Shen is going to taunt, and instead of trying to do the ER combo, the QR combo, she does just walk up, and when the Shen does taunt, then that's when the ulti comes through and gets that kill. They do get 3 turret plates in the mid lane as well for that.
Yeah, the turret not quite dropping, but that brings the gold dead even.
100
again, so
100.
So yeah, it depends on a creep kill. So yeah, this game is still very much in the balance at the moment. I think some plates might fall now in the mid lane in favor of blue, which will give them a bit of a gold lead again.
Oh yeah, there we go. 500 about. Sejuani said to answer it. I don't think.
No, there's not too much she can do.
Oh, nothing there. Ezreal ulti is down, but we do see a flash and an exhaust on the Ezreal, and flash on Galio, Sivir, and Lulu there. We do go back to the top lane. I think there's going to be another fight. He does miss the jousting. They're just kind of trading. There's
Sejuani
a little
is rotating upwards.
Yeah, so is the Thresh. There's the dash from the thing. Here she comes. Jousting does land and stops the Shen. The glacial prism, I don't know what you call it on the Sejuani, but he's stuck here. Thresh is trying not to take it, and everyone wanting to.
Okay, they wanted to go into the S, but he was I think this is a dead mid lane turret.
Can the Ezreal
does clear some of the wave.
Yeah.
Okay, he might have saved this. I think he has saved this.
He does.
Well
Wukong
played.
takes the turret hit on the way back, and a arcane shift with a Q does get that. What is let's see here.
And we're sitting on Ocean Soul, just sort of FYI. So probably the biggest soul in our last game. So yeah, look, I don't want to get ahead of myself, but I think whoever gets that ocean soul is probably going to win this game. But we're still very far from there.
Looks like there's going to be a tower top side. Oh.
Yeah,
here comes the 3-man gank under the tower. Thresh does step forward.
Oh, this is a good punish.
Okay. He does get the taunt away. A little too early on that, I think. If he just waited. There was the ward that did, I think, spot out the Thresh. But, yeah, definitely. I feel like if the Sejuani maybe came over the wall, used that cleared ulti to get onto the Shen, I feel like they could have pulled it off. But I agree with the play in terms of that they didn't force it.
Yeah, I suppose, but one thing that I think they're doing quite well is they recognize if you focus Shen, there's no one on the map that can help him.
Yeah.
Whereas when you focus somewhere else on the map, you just have that Shen ulti coming through as help. So it's always a good idea to try and shut down the global. Galio does have a global technically, but he's been stuck in the bottom lane. So there's no ways that he'd be able to ulti top lane
Ooh, we do see a
from the bot
potential
lane.
fight. Wukong is here in the wings, just waiting for that Corki to kind of step a little bit forward. Does look like everyone's going. The Wukong does not get spotted. They are still. Here comes the Thresh. He got spotted by the Thresh. He's running away. Gets flayed into the prism so that he doesn't get the ulti. He is slowed. I see the whole team is coming around. Ulti onto the Wukong. Here comes the Galio and the Shen onto it. The Galio comes back with the taunt onto it. Corki does get taunted by the Shen. Here comes the Galio. Galio gets stuck by Sejuani's E, but he does go down. Claire does get dismounts. He does take the lantern, which leaves Ezreal stranded. He does flash over to the wall. Taunt does land on the Sejuani, but he does get the passive. There's the I don't know what you want to call it. But we do see what's it, a 1-for-1 trade. Ezreal is trying to get these pokes. They have started. They do land the hook onto the Lulu. She does shield herself. Can Clay get the kill? He does. He gets the mount as well, so they're going after the Shen. He does get the jousting onto the Wukong, and then he gets the dismount once again and dies from the Shen. Here comes the TP in from the Galio with the Home Seeker boots, I think it is. Misses the taunt, but does get the Q. Hook, which is in the wrong direction, but the Ezreal is trying to stay away from this. He's trying to land the Qs. Oh, he almost does get it. Here comes the Corki back. Can he? He is going to possibly get the Wukong.
Pick up one kill.
He does get the. Oh, the shutdown actually goes onto the Ezreal, but. Oh, what a fight!
What a long fight. But I think again, just seeing the kill on the Shen there, just proving the point that we made earlier that this guy is a tank, but he is a ninja, and ninjas do damage.
Yeah, I think if nothing really happens, we might go back to that fight. I just want to stick around for this.
I think it's safe.
Okay, let's go. It's going to be a long recap once again. So we do go into this fight. We see the Wukong get caught here, and the flay from the Thresh and the ulti to try and keep him away from ulting. Then we do see the Ezreal trying basically zoning, and then all the ultis come onto that Wukong. Corki does trying to take the Wukong, but then Troepe do focus him. And then we see the Galio come down, and as that's happening, we continue the fight, but the respawners are coming up. The Claire does take the lantern, which leaves the Ezreal stuck, and he has to flash over that wall. And then Sejuani basically the Shen goes onto the Sejuani, and then we just see Ezreal kind of poking and harassing and stuff. And while we're doing that, we do see the time is coming down. It's 10 seconds on the Galio, and 6 on the Corki, and then the re-engage from the Thresh, which does get the kill on the Lulu, and then the remount from the Claire, and then he does get bursted down, and then the Galio comes back with the quick boots to try and get this kill onto the Ezreal, and he misses the charm, and then he lands the Q, and as that's happening, they're taking Drake on this side, and great kiting and just poke from the Ezreal.
Don't go back to live.
Is there another fight?
About 20 seconds off live, before live. First, there's a bit of a fight in the top lane and also in mid lane.
Okay, so we're gonna go not completely back to live. So yeah, we kind of see a reset, and then we do see that engage in the top lane, and then Clade kind of just uses his ulti to get away. And then I think so we do see
the fight in the
middle lane. We do see the rift coming up. And pings coming down for Troepe to try and get this kind of Galio comes around the corner. He does get the E into the double taunt, which is great. That does mean it's a dead Thresh. Will I get it? Oh, the flay, great. The taunt, the dash coming out from the Galio. Oh, he does get it eventually. Ulti misses from the Sejuani, but they do kill the Wukong on the back end of that. So it is a 1-for-2.
After that, rotate down towards the bot lane. I don't know if you caught the Kled who died in the top lane also during all of that.
I didn't actually, but we're gonna. So here we can see the bot lane taunt onto the Corki, the turnaround. Oh, the ulti from the Ezreal does get that, and then the ulti from the Galio sways it. Shen, TP coming off from the Kled. He does get the jousting, but then he does decide to turn around. And we don't see a kill just yet. Yeah. Oh, there was a kill on the Sejuani.
And the Sejuani died. I don't know if you've seen that Sejuani animation when she dies, but it's so is so sad.
Okay, let's.
She dies. You can come back to.
We'll have to check it out in the next one when she does die. So yeah, just fast
after
forwarding.
all of that, we're sitting on about a 1,500 gold lead for the red team now. For Era Millennium, so they've pushed back and overtaken Troepe, who did have the gold lead for most of the game so far. I think this Galio is struggling a bit to be relevant. He only recently picked up that Abyssal Mask, and to be fair, that Abyssal Mask is not going to add much value. The only real APs coming out of the Corki. I'm quite surprised to see him go that first, and it doesn't even look like he's building any sort of armor after that either. He's got an amp tome. He has the Ninja Tabi boots, but I really think he needs to prioritize armor.
I was also just, in terms of that, also thinking, I mean, the only real damage that he is amplifying is his own, and okay, Lulu's, but I mean, Lulu's not really much of an AP caster, so he's not really amplifying, like, the only person he's really amplifying is himself. Yes, I know it adds some tanky stats, but yeah, I totally agree with you in terms of possibly picking up rather armor, a Randuin's. Oh, here we go with the fight on the Wukong onto the Sejuani. The clear does get the jousting, but there is the disengage over there. But Ezreal's poke is coming out. Oh, he does miss the Glacial Prism, the ulti from the Wukong. Ezreal ultis the double ulti on the Wukong. The Corki comes in with the package and just comes around. Thresh uses the lantern, the jousting. Oh, so much action in these fights.
And the Ezreal doing damage again. I knew this Ezreal was going to be quite a priority pick for both teams, and I wonder if it was a mistake from Troepe to allow this Ezreal to go through.
We do see
they're getting punished. 5-0 and 5.
Devs, they are gonna take that. So I'm just gonna go back to that fight, and we're just gonna catch that from the beginning. I'm not too sure why the timer shows an Infernal Drake once again, but yeah, we do see the engage from the Wukong coming onto the Sejuani with the help of the Sivir, and the jousting does land on the Wukong, but then they decide to disengage. But Ezreal on the backside, landing all this poke and just munching down that Wukong. Then we see the ulti miss from the Sejuani, and the ulti land from the Ezreal, and the double Wukong ultis coming up on the team, getting a double, but the package just comes across the whole team, and the double ADs on the backside just melting through these tanks, and yeah, basically no one focusing the AD carries on there, and kind of just bringing that fight home for them. So I do see they did take Drake.
So they took Ocean Soul while you were away, and it looks like they're going to take, Blue are going to take mid lane now, so a bit of a so still a gold lead. It's now about a 4,000 gold lead for the red team for Era Millennium. But yeah, I mean, for me it just comes back down to the fact that Galio isn't adding the value that I think they were hoping he would. And for me, it literally comes down to that Abyssal Mask. I have a suspicion that that was almost like a auto sort of buy. He's so used to buying that as his first item on the Galio, which normally makes sense in the mid lane context, but in this context, just unfortunately, I think was the wrong choice. And yeah, they don't have a front line, like you say, to deal with those two ADCs. I mean, those two ADCs are just laying waste to everything in front of them.
And it was a great package from that Corki, and yeah, like you said, there's no real answer, and now they have the pressure in the mid lane to set up for the Baron. Oh, the Corki does get caught out, but he doesn't grab the lantern.
I don't think he
panics a little and flashes, but he does get that. Like you say, he is alive. I think he was a little bit nervous about the burst kind of coming out and kind of killing him before that lantern came down. But we do see a fight in the bot lane. Kled is fighting that Galio, which is great because he doesn't really have much defenses. He doesn't
Galio
have much armor, he just has
the...
But we do see the Shen coming down. But yeah, that's about that.
Yeah, that's the thing that they have to be careful of, though. You don't. If I was, if I'm on red team, my only advice is, be careful of taking a one-on-one. If it's not against the Shen, just because of that.
We do see the Baron started, and it's in total darkness. Hook from the Thresh does get the ulti onto the Lulu, but here comes. Oh, there we go, and the Galio is now stuck. They are trying to get it. Here comes the clear, and that's the kill.
Oh my god.
3-for-1 kill to Era Millennium.
That an AoE from the red side. Oh my goodness gracious, there's just nothing you can do against that. This is gonna be a dead Baron.
Free
If I was
Baron.
Wukong, I don't think he even
They're
tries.
just pushing in the top lane.
I think he
Yeah,
might
and
try
now
fight
we're on
the
about a
Kled.
7,000 gold lead. He's trying to take that fight, but it does look like he's losing a little. Ulti to stop
Flash.
him. Yo. Flash out, the lantern was there, but here comes the rest of the team to kind of take down this tower. They don't even care about creeps, they're just gonna take it down.
Apparently not, yeah.
Kled's,
The
I
creeps are
think,
not
just
far
waiting
away.
for that mount again, but we see the recall from the Wukong. So what do you want to see from Troepe to possibly bring this back? I mean, well, I'm
Armor on the Galio.
yeah, but I see he did.
First of all,
Oh,
and
the
he's gone.
turnaround. The Ezreal is trying to fight the two of them. The Kled is here. He does.
Oh!
Oh, phase rush, just off. He's on about double flash
It's so
into the
low, my
into
God.
the blast cone, and they get away with
Oh.
67 health and 400. Yo,
Holy that
how
was
close.
so close.
How close.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more, Warmaster. That turnaround by the Baron, we do see a possible engage onto the Corki, but he does have the package, and yeah, just that turnaround, it does look like they're going to get the tower on the top lane. But yeah, Millennium kind of running away with this game a little.
Yeah, it looks, it's only a 8-ish thousand gold lead, just over 8,000 gold lead, which is, I suppose, not the end of the world,
Oh,
but yeah, I
we
don't
do
know
have a
if he
bit of
can
a
bring
fight
this
on
back.
the Galio, but he
No,
does
he's
go
just gonna
away.
back away.
Yeah, it's going to be, I wonder if this Corki is going to use that package aggressively. He does.
Kill the
It
clone.
is the image, yeah.
Ooh,
Oh,
Thresh
here
must
comes
have
the
hooked someone.
possible hook
Oh,
onto the
dead
Lulu.
Lulu.
Dead.
Yeah, she's...
Oh, here comes
and
the
Wukong.
Kled on the backside, and the
Oh,
Wukong just dies, and the Ezreal does miss, but I don't think this is game. Honestly, I think they're just gonna take the inhibitor.
well, the inhibitor's just gonna respawn, so
Ooh,
they're gonna have
Kled's
to take
going
that.
on, and Thresh is
Yeah.
looking for the hook, but he is getting poked. Oh, here comes
I
the
think
Ezreal
they want
forwards.
to finish. I think they can.
Here goes the Galio can't ulti if he's
Again,
dead, and again the Shen is. I mean, there goes the Sivir, and yeah, it looks like they're gonna
Galio
close
is
this game out.
unfortunately just not adding any value to these team fights.
Oh,
I think this is
this is
GG,
game, I
yeah.
think, yeah. Yeah, we have Tigger. Aren't you in the game? Yes.
Tiger, yeah, the game's over.
I know, it's a different one. Tiger over here is supporting his team, and we have Tigger in the game. So it is different people, but yeah, it looks like they're just racking up these kills now, getting those resets. The Ezreal just clutching this and destroying, melting through the team of Troepe, and that looks like it is GG.
And Ezreal did not die that game, 7-0
What
and 13.
a game.
Sure.
A
Well
very,
played, very well played by Millennium.
yeah, different from what we expected coming out in that third game. I thought it was going to be a little bit closer and like back and forth than from what we saw in the first two games. But yeah, what a game coming out from Millennium.
Yeah, yeah, first sort of thoughts, I think maybe putting Wukong in the jungle was maybe the wrong move. I think we've seen him dominate the solo lanes. I mean, I know he's a viable jungler. We've both played, ranked games, or 5v5 games where we've had or played against the Wukong in the jungle. But I think if you really want to get the most out of Wukong, you have to put him in a solo lane. I think he just doesn't get the resources that he needs, first of all. And also, I mean, the idea of having, such an overpowered champion, I think, is to put him in a one-on-one matchup that he can win, and he can build an advantage from there. He just wasn't able to get any sort of advantage from the jungle. And then it makes me think, should Troepe have really prioritized the Wukong pick over that Ezreal pick? I think that Ezreal pick came out clutch, with Tigger being 0, 7, and 13 on that pick.
Yeah, I mean, the Ezreal and the Corki just doing damage on the backside. Just that one fight where both of them were just auto-attacking and no one was kind of responding. And I understand in terms of that team fight and what was happening, but unfortunately, you can't let those ADCs just sit and auto-attack away and melt through your tanks like that. And yeah, like you said, pulling the clutch through on that Ezreal I'm guessing your MVP is that Ezreal?
Yeah, yeah. Look, the top lane cleared. I think, to be honest, I think they got away with it. I don't think that was a good pick. To be fair, again, there was maybe one ulti where he helped his team sort of get in there, but honestly, I don't think the Kled was impactful as a pick. So yeah.